On your marks, friends, get ready. Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to How to Reprogram Your Subconscious Mind Secrets of Self Transformation with yours truly, Dr. David Snyder, looking very much like I'm some kind of professional video or DJ jockey or podcaster or some weird stuff. Pardon the weird microphone setup. I'm out in the field right now. Actually, I'm visiting family in Florida as well as paying some one-on-one visits to some of uh, my elite mega coaching clients. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody could hear me and stuff like that. So just a couple administrative things. Then we're going to get into content. Remember, we're all about content. We're all about giving you real world, usable, actionable intel. For those of you who are brand new to David, let me give you the 5 minute bio. My name is Dr. David Snyder. I've been a practicing acupuncturist, energy worker, martial artist, neurolinguistic programmer, trainer, yada yada yada, uh, for almost for longer than I haven't been doing it. Let's put it that way. Just to give you the actual credentials, I have two doctorates actually. I have a doctorate in Chinese acupuncture and Oriental medicine, as well as Chinese energetic medicine. So if you're wondering, well, what's the difference between acupuncture and Oriental medicine? The difference is everything that I learned in my Chinese acupuncture and Oriental medicine class is what we would consider to be modern TCM. In other words, post-communist versions of some very, very powerful and very, very, in many cases, secretive forms of energetic healing, mind, body, knowledge, and that's what we're about. That's what we're going to be talking about on today's webinar. Is this idea of the mind, body, energy interface, and how all of it meets at one place? That's your autonomic nervous system. And if you understand those crossroads, then you can pretty much program yourself to do just about anything you want. And that includes removing or reversing illness, removing limiting beliefs. Um, I haven't figured out how to quite regrow organs yet. I am working on that, though. Um, there's probably a little bit more involved, but that's a different topic for a different day. So let me just finish my bio really quick. I am also one of the world's leading instructors on neurolinguistic programming and how to reprogram your subconscious mind. My specialization outside of the clinic has been strategic human influence. In other words, how to talk to or communicate with people in such a way to get them to behave and want to behave in the ways that are in alignment with the outcomes we set for ourselves. And I've been teaching those courses and things like that for over 20 years. I've authored over 15 different products on various forms of human influence, everything ranging from how to talk people out of being in pain to how to talk people into doing a deal with you, becoming your customer, becoming your lover, and all points in between. If it involves influence, I am a total geek on it. And I've spent a lot of years honing my craft, so to speak. I didn't come out of the womb that way by any stretch of the imagination. Like many of you, I did not have the easiest childhood. I was the classic bullied kid. I was the one that was always picked last for just about everything. If there was somebody who was going to be scapegoated for somebody else's misdeeds, the finger was usually pointed at me. So I spent a lot of years in protection mode. I spent a lot of years trying to figure out how do I keep from being victimized in certain situations and circumstances? But even more importantly, how can I get people to like me? How can I get people to want to be around me, to want to do the things that I want them to do? And how do I tell the difference between people who are out to use me, I guess is a good way to say it, and people who actually genuinely are in alignment with my needs, my values, my wants, things of that nature? And that was my introduction to many of the things that I'm going to share with you on this webinar. Yes, this webinar is about how to reprogram your subconscious mind. It's also about influence. And the most important person that you need to influence as we go through our journey together, whether it's your first time in Planet David or not, is you have to learn to influence yourself. If you can't influence yourself, then you're going to be at the mercy of every other form of influence out there. Okay. And what you'll discover as you uh, what's the word I'm looking for? Peruse the depths, I guess, is of the content that we're going to be sharing with you and the deeper wells beyond that. you're going to gain tremendous power over yourself. And as you gain that power over yourself, you're going to discover that the ability to influence others gets easier and easier and easier because you won't have to do it. That's kind of the interesting thing is people seek to influence others out of a sense of powerlessness, of not having the ability to get what they want in life because they feel less than inside. They feel something is weak or something is broken or something is missing. Let me tell you first and foremost, as we go into the content of tonight's webinar, none of you are broken. None of you are broken. Every single one of you has magic inside of you waiting to come out. And the point of this webinar is to help you unlock it, to help you discover it, play with it, have some experiences with it, and take it out into the world so that you can begin to really make things happen for you. So if you follow my instructions and you obey the commands and directions that I give you, your life is going to change. Okay. I'm good at what I do, but I can't multiply zeros. This is not David telling you what to do. This is you and I working together in partnership to discover things about your own system that will unlock the beliefs that hold you back. It'll unlock the beliefs that move you forward. It will give you the ability to write your ticket in this life, but only if you hold up your end of the bargain, right? If you actually take these skills out into the world and you use them. So before I go any further, can we agree on that? Is it okay for the course of this webinar to put our skepticism on the shelf? Which, by the way, I love skeptics. By the way, believers scare the frick out of me, but skeptics I love. Right? Skeptics haven't been convinced either way yet, and that's good enough for me. Believers are people who've already made a decision that this shit's bullshit. This stuff is bullshit, and they're not open to anything. You don't have to believe anything I'm going to share with you on this webinar tonight. All you have to do is want it. Right. And if you want it and you follow the instructions, you're going to be amazed at how quickly and easily you discover how rapidly your system can change. Right. And it's still just the tip of a very large iceberg. That being said, if this is the scope of everything that there is to learn tonight, okay, we have time for this much. Okay. So my commitment to you, my promise to you is this: I will take you as far down this rabbit hole as I can in the time that we have. I will show you things. I will give you foundations. I will give you principles. I will give you as many experiences as I am capable of giving you, sharing with you and guiding you through in the time that we have together. And then I will point you in the direction of where to go to get everything else. Is that a fair trade for us, for the time that we're together tonight, to just have some as much fun as humanly possible with these skills and these abilities and the magic that is you, and then choosing to level up as I show you where to go? If that's fair, just type "that's fair" in the chat. We'll go from there. Okay, so Gerard is with me, Richard's with me, Reed. Hey, Reed, good to see you, buddy. There's Edie. Our brothers and sisters out in YouTube land, I want to thank you all for checking in with us. The feed that you're on is on a 60 to 75-second delay from when I talk on the Zoom channel here versus when it shows up in your feed. However, your chat is in real time, so if you have a question, and again, I know I'm kind of slowing down a little bit in terms of getting into the content of tonight's webinar, but it's necessary because our webinars are not classic standard webinars. Our webinars are literally classes. They're literally opportunities for you and I to get to know each other and to walk step by step through some amazing experiences that hopefully will show you a window or show you a path to becoming the person you've always wanted to be. Right. So a couple things. You're going to want to take a lot of notes. Okay. I get that. I would recommend, if you're one of those people who loves to take notes, that you do it on actual pen and paper. There's a powerful kinesthetic element that is activated in your brain when you resort to printing, or, as is often the case, cursive writing. Right. And so I encourage you to do that as much as possible. Obviously, if all you have is a tablet or a transcriber or whatever, you do the best you can with what you got. I'm going to give you one of the most important principles that I can share with everyone. And it's so fundamental, it's so foundational. And yet, if you can embody this one idea, this one principle, everything in your life will get easier, faster, and better. Would that be okay to just right off the bat give you something super simple that if you just integrate it into your life would make your would make everything faster, easier, and simpler. Would that be okay? Type it in the chat if that's okay. By the way, one of the things you're going to discover, especially if you're new, is that I am a teacher first and I thrive on feedback. I love interactiveness. That being said, um, you're going to have questions, and the more questions I get, the happier I get. However, the more questions I get, the more likely I am to go off in chasing rabbits and not get to the actual content. So there's 3 ways you can get your questions answered. A, ask it in the chat. If it's relevant to where we are in the webinar, I'm happy to answer it. If it's not relevant, I will probably just bypass it and put a pin in it for later. If you think it's relevant, keep asking it. If I see it and I find it's won't take us away from where we need to go, then I'll probably answer it. If I don't do that, I invite my veterans, anybody who's been in Planet David for longer than 3 to 6 months, who's been using our materials, type your name and where you're checking from in the chat, because I always call on my veterans. I call on the people who've been hanging around Planet David for however long they've been, because they're hanging around for a reason, right? This stuff works. We don't waste our time on low percentage technique. I don't think you have time in your life for that stuff, and neither do I. And so these people, when you see veterans, when you see a question from some of our new people, or even some of our veterans, and you have experience solving that problem using our technologies, I invite you to reach out to them and actually answer that question. Right. So that's 2 ways to get your questions answered. A, type it in the chat. If I see it, great. If not, keep typing. And then if that doesn't work, the veterans will answer it. The final way is people always ask, yes, there's always a replay of these webinars, right? We love to give you content. We love to share things with you that are going to go out and move the needle for you in your life. So if you do have a question and maybe I didn't see it, maybe you didn't like the answers that you got from our veterans, that's fine. When this replay goes live, if you go to the comment section below the video, you can type your question in there. I make a point of it. I've been really busy lately. I apologize if I haven't been answering as often as a normal, but I do try to make it a practice to go back and go through the comments on a regular basis and actually answer those questions. So if you want an answer direct from me and I didn't get to it in the context of this training, then by all means, ask your question in the comment section and we'll go from there. So this course is all about changing limiting beliefs. It's all about removing blocks to success, getting rid of negative emotions, and how to program your mind for unlimited health, wealth, success, and happiness. Some of the content that you'll be learning tonight was drawn from some of our award-winning programs, Killer Influence for one, Defense Against the Dark Arts, and one I think is the unsung hero of personal transformation. It's called Identity by Design, Real-World Hypnosis and Hypnotherapy, Identity by Design. The Identity by Design silo is responsible for creating more powerful, unstoppable change than probably any other hypnosis system out there. And so some of the things I'm going to be sharing with you are hallmarks of that system. It's not the whole thing, obviously, right? So because it's a 7-stage system. But I also draw a lot from my martial arts. I draw a lot from the acupuncture and Oriental medical fields, both post-communist and the shamanic, energetic type of things. It turns out that the ancient Chinese, the Buddhists and the Taoists had a tremendous wealth of an understanding of energetic and psychology in general. Certainly, it's not 100% in alignment with what Western psychology has told us, but the insights that they've gained over thousands of years of helping people reach so-called enlightenment or getting rid of things is definitely something not to sneeze at. And so what I've done is I've looked at where all these different systems overlap and meet at the autonomic nervous system level and created a very simple way for you to access that power without going through 20, 30, 40 years of intense meditations or journaling until your fingers fall off and things like that. So that being said, are you guys in the right place? Well, first and foremost, if you can answer yes to any of the following questions, then you're probably in the right place. How many of you have ever wondered what it would be like to just move through the world radiating confidence and certainty and charisma and having people just flock to you to answer their questions or to tell them what to do or to give you give them your wisdom and your guidance? If you've ever had that experience, go ahead and type "that's for me" in the chat, right? If you want to banish fear and insecurity from your life and radiate confidence and assertiveness and move through the world from a truly empowered place, go ahead and type that in the chat because that's relevant for tonight, right? If you'd like to have people thinking and feeling and acting the way you want them to, so that they naturally want to follow your lead, this is a good place for you to be tonight. Right? If you'd like to program yourself, this is always a good one. If you'd like to program yourself for massive levels of wealth and abundance, prosperity by whatever definition you define it, right? If that's something that's on your to-do list or your to be acquired list, welcome home, right? If you're ready to, let's see here. If you'd like to inspire yourself and your employees to get things done, if you'd like to attract yourself and surround yourself with all kinds of new, trustworthy, and loyal friends, not frenemies, not old friends holding you back, right? But friends who are going to support you and be in alignment with your values and your dreams and your ideals. This is really a good place for you to hang out with tonight. Okay. That being said, I want to talk a little bit about how this webinar works. This webinar and our particular approach in Planet David is divided into 3 distinct parts. You have what we call phase 1 of the webinar, which is kind of what we're in now, which is foundations phase. This is where we're going to introduce you to some very powerful principles of the mind, some very simple but very, very definitive techniques that will give you experiences of what it's like to tap into the intrinsic power of your nervous system. The best part about all this is you don't have to believe any of it. All you have to do is have a desire for it, a willingness to be playful, and I'm going to come back to that word playful in just a moment, and a sincere desire to roll up your sleeves, do the drills, have the experience, and get some skills for yourself. Because I want you to come away from tonight's training with tools that you can actually apply right away, right? And so that's my intention, that's my goal. But to really make this your webinar, I need to know more about you as a group, right? Individually, yes, I can. And as a group, I want to know what the aggregate of you is. So part 1 is all about foundations. You're going to need those foundations for the things we're going to do in part 3. Part 3 of the webinar is what we call the applications and personalization phase. Applications and personalization means I'm going to take the foundations, the principles that we've taught you in part 1 of this webinar, and I'm going to help you apply them specifically to the areas of your life that you want to change right away. They're going to be quick. They're going to be easy. They're going to be incontrovertible, right? Certainly, I have to put out the disclaimer that not these techniques don't work for everyone. Nothing does. But I will poke the bear a little bit with our YouTube sensors and stuff and say, we get really, really close. We get really, really close. Okay. I have found very few things that the techniques that I intend to share with you tonight have not at least put a very big dent in, if not completely eliminated them. So I'm very, very proud of the technologies I'm going to be sharing with you. I'm excited for you guys, especially the new people, because if you stay around until the end of the training, I'm going to teach you the fastest, most powerful, and direct way to reprogram your mind and body for unlimited health, wealth, success, and happiness. I'll show you in very simple ways a technique that can absolutely put a dead stop halt to procrastination, that can remove them and melt the blocks to success that you've been experiencing in your life, and even give you an insight as to how you got them in the first place, right? I want to teach you how to get rid of negative emotions like fear and pain and other limiting sensations or beliefs that your system created in its effort to help you, but is actually winding up, screwing your long-term growth and health and success, right? If you want, we'll talk about manifestation, active neurologically based manifestation. But ultimately, the goal for tonight is to give you the exact steps that you need to go from interesting information to maximum transformation in minimum time. Okay. And so the way we're going to start with that is we're going to talk about the 2 most important factors for success. If you don't have these 2 pieces, all forward movement will stop. Okay. There's only so far you can get. You need these 2 factors I'm going to talk about. We'll talk about the 3 ingredients of achievement. Okay. We're going to talk about the rules of the mind. We're going to talk about something called body-centered energetic psychotherapy. And ultimately, we're going to take these processes and we're going to use them to show you in very simple, easy steps how to reprogram your subconscious mind for everything you want, right? We'll even show you how, if we have time, Don't know if we'll have time for all of it, but how to use a future clearing process that allows you to really kind of spot check your work. I don't know if we'll have time for that just because it's a little bit more in depth, um, but we'll see. The ultimate goal of tonight's webinar is to teach you how to take control of your life, how to get the life you want the way that you want it by your standards and your definitions. So that's my agenda for tonight. Before we go any further, I want to ask you guys to just kind of hang to feed me a little bit. In other words, if you're brand new, type in your name, where you're checking in from, and most importantly, what I want to help you with tonight, or what do you want my help with tonight? What is it? If you took one thing away from tonight's webinar as a byproduct of this training, if you just took one thing away, what is it you'd like to change? Is it something you want more of? Something you want less of? Is it something that you want to think about differently? What is that one all-important thing that makes all the difference for you? So I got Melanie's in North Carolina. We got Gerard coming in with, he's on money and limiting beliefs. Okay, we can work with those. Actually, I have a whole variation of this webinar. Actually, it was a 2-webinar series that we did called Money Magnet Mastery, where I did nothing but just show people how to find their limiting beliefs and just nuke them right off the bat. So Lisa's saying more money so I can be a blessing to others. Great. Lisa, that sounds very familiar. I think we did that with you last week. Right on. Okay. What else we got? Who else has got some stuff? Let's see here. How about our YouTubers? So Poster Boy is asking reprogram subconscious mind. Well, that's on the agenda. More money, relationships. Okay, money seems to be eliminate chronic pain. We can do that. Irwan, we can do that. Irwan, is this your first time with us? Your name looks familiar to me. Let's see here. Get a narcissist to stop using kids as leverage. Ooh, good luck with that one, especially if the kids live with them, right? So eliminate chronic pain. So Erwan says, no, this is your first time? All right, cool. Welcome to Planet David, or as we say, the ever-expanding Snyderverse. Money. All right. So you guys want to talk about money, huh? Is that what this is about? All right. All right. So let me go ahead and share my screen with you a little bit, because I want to show you where some of the technologies that you're going to be working with. Okay, Kam is asking about healing a permanent injury. Okay, well, we'll see what we can do with that. All right. So can you, oops, let me make sure that I did that right. That's what I want. No, that's what I want. Thank you. All right. So what you're seeing behind me is what is known as the identity by design process, or the identity by design silo. I've had a clinical practice in Solana Beach, California for the last, well, since 2005. So it's 2025 now, 20 years. My specialty during that time was treating physiological illness that is caused by repressed emotion. Let me repeat that a couple more times so you get it. My specialty was treating chronic and terminal illness caused by repressed emotion. So, some people come to a hypnotist or a neurolinguistic programmer to learn how to stop smoking or to lose weight. Those were not the clients I got. First couple of years of my practice, it was strictly a medical referral. So I started with the chronic pain world and then transitioned into chronic illness. And so one of the processes that we run people through, this is called the identity by design silo. It starts with going in and helping your mind and body clear the negativity it didn't even know it had inside of it. Think of it like soaking the pot before you throw it in the dishwasher or scrub it. Then we're going to talk about what we call safety lessons, right? Specialized or special negativity. And this is something that is probably the thing that you guys are going to get the biggest bang for your buck out of, because one of the things I need you guys to understand about your unconscious mind is that it loves you. Now, I know, I know if we keep dating the same person with a different face, keep getting the same job with, or the same boss with a different job, it can seem like our unconscious mind is just out to punish us. It truly isn't. Your unconscious mind, you can see my entire desktop rather than just the PowerPoint. Well, that's cool. And you can see my really cool snake turtle background. Let me see if I can fix that. Hold on a second. Don't worry, I didn't have anything obviously embarrassing on it. Is that better, guys? Can you see the slides better? Thank you for telling me that, by the way. Okay. Okay. So again, general negativity is literally kind of like soaking the pot. You see, one of the things that people don't realize is that your unconscious mind is like a recording device that never turns off. Okay. And so while you may be consciously paying attention to the person you're like, say you're riding the bus or the subway or some form of public transportation, right? Let's say and you're riding with a friend or a partner, and your mind is focused on that person, right? You're consciously paying attention to that person. But in the background, there's people arguing and yelling and calling each other names and stuff like that. Well, guess what? You're consciously not picking it up because you're focused on something else. But your unconscious mind is actually secretly recording that information. It takes everything in. And so what happens is over the course of days and weeks and months of interacting with humans that we aren't consciously paying attention to, we start to get this charge, for lack of a better word, of negative programming. And because your autonomic nervous system already has a negativity bias, it tends to hold on to that stuff unless we intentionally go in and clean it out. And so the very first part of the identity by design silo is to go in, find all the crap that you've accumulated that you didn't even know you had, and show your system how to get rid of it. Just flush the whole system out. And what you'll find a lot of times when you do that is that the core problems that you have, they either go away as well because they were mixed in with that stuff, or they become much easier to resolve. They don't seem quite as bad because you don't have all this other stuff adding a charge to it. We're going to talk a lot about emotional charges as we go through tonight's webinar, because a lot of times when we want to change the system, there's an emotional energetic charge that's stored in the tissues, and if we don't vent that charge in some way, the body creates a kind of a defense mechanism around it. It doesn't want you to touch it. How many people here have ever heard of the concept of muscle guarding? Does anybody here not know what muscle guarding is? It's okay if you don't. I'm going to explain it. Okay. So muscle guarding is if you've ever had a muscle injury and the muscle just locks up and cramps and it won't let go, right? That's muscle guarding, right? A lot of times when you go for deep tissue massage and they start working on those adhesions and things that are deep in your muscles and your fascia, those are a result of muscle guarding. That's a result of the body clamping down and trying to keep itself from getting hurt by creating a shell, a barrier around that particular issue. It also tends to, as Ashley saying, oh, I had that when I had to wear a cast for a long time. Yeah, muscle guarding it's also can create an atrophy syndrome where you can't really move the muscle. So muscle rictus, right? And so one of the things you need to understand is that whatever the muscles and the tissues do, the mind also does. And so what happens is your autonomic nervous system, your other than conscious mind, starts to put these little, think of it like emotional muscle guarding around these things that hurt you, that make you feel bad. And unless you go in and find a way to eliminate and dissolve that muscle guarding, the system will resist. It'll fight back if you try to change it too directly or too invasively, right? And so what we do is we go in and we begin removing as many of the more superficial layers of the negativity as possible that the system's willing to give up. And as it's doing that, the overall muscle guarding emotional and psycho-emotional level that you would be experiencing, again, I'm using a metaphor, right? That tends to get softer and easier to work with. So one of the things we're going to be talking about a lot, especially if you go into the more advanced trainings that we have coming up, we'll talk about venting the emotional charge of something. Venting that emotional charge allows us to resolve, at least for a short period of time, that emotional energy that you've built up that's keeping that system locked in place. Then we can go in and we can reprocess the structure and the emotional content around the story, and the body will let go of it. Okay, that's a very simplified understanding of how this mechanism works. You don't need an in-depth understanding to create very powerful, very rapid change. You just need to understand a few basic mechanics. Okay. Specialized negativity is when we do something one too many times, our nervous system kind of sits back and says, huh, every time this person goes and does this happens to them, they get hurt, they feel bad, and I have to make sure that that doesn't happen anymore. I know if they never have that situation again, they can never get hurt. Now, that sounds like a really good thing, but what if the situation your unconscious mind is talking about is your next romantic relationship? What if that next situation your unconscious mind is talking about is your next business idea? Your unconscious mind's first priority is to keep you safe. It's to protect you from things that make you feel bad, because as far as your deep level unconscious mind is concerned, feeling bad equals danger. Danger equals death. You guys following me so far? So your unconscious mind, if you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, will flip a metaphorical switch in your system, and it won't let you do it again. It won't let you do the activity that you want to be successful at, because each time you didn't get it, or you had a less than positive result, you went through pain. We call those safety lessons because it's not malicious. Your unconscious mind is trying to protect you, and it's doing it in the only way that it knows how, to keep you from doing that freaking thing over and over and over again, right? My wife is an amazing physician. She's a chiropractor, a licensed acupuncturist. She has a PhD in biochemistry. And one of the things that she used to work with, or the kinds of people she used to work with for a long, long time, were martial artists. We have a very strong martial tradition in our family. But one of the problems with martial artists is they don't do rehab very well. They don't wait until they're fully recovered before they get back in the dojo, right? And or the gym. And so what happens a lot of times, these people keep getting injured the same way over and over and over again. And then at some point, they get up to go to the gym, they walk in and they just stop. Like they just do everything but what they came to do, because their unconscious mind won't let them take the actions because it injured them so many times in the past. Okay. Now I'm using a martial arts metaphor. I'm using an athletics metaphor, but this can go for anything. This can be for dating. It can be for starting a business. It can be anything. If you, like I make a joke earlier, if you keep dating the same person with a different face, there's a pattern you're trying to avoid. And the act of actually avoiding it actually causes it to manifest. It's this weird hypocrisy or a mirror effect of the unconscious mind, which again will show you how to get to the bottom of it, if that makes any kind of sense. But special negativity is something that I like when I do these Reprogram the Unconscious Mind webinars. I really like to have you go through this process because it allows you to take the brakes off. It allows you to remove those limiting beliefs and preserve the information that the unconscious mind wanted you to get in the first place. The bottom line, special negativity often manifests because your unconscious mind doesn't trust your conscious mind not to make the same mistakes over and over and over again. And so it does it for you. Then, of course, we have default driver states. Default driver states are states of playfulness, curiosity, victory, relentlessness. Most people go through the world in a very neutral to negative or even really negative state, and especially if you're constantly being bombarded by the newscast and all the crap that's going on the media, right? You're going to be it's going to pile drive you into a very negative default state, and your perceptual filters are going to shift, and you're going to begin to see the world in a place of lack rather than possibilities. So what we do in the identity by design process is we go in and we install these special super positive states that allow you to really move through the world from a place of empowerment, states of curiosity, playfulness, victory, and relentless determination to win. These are the traits that all winners have, all naturally lucky people have. And when you apply and install these and magnify them in yourself, you start to generate more and more and more opportunities in your life, and you start acting on those opportunities instead of just watching them go by you over and over again. How many people here have ever seen an amazing opportunity right in front of them and just watched it evaporate because you were too busy hesitating and wondering in your mind if this was the right decision, right? One of the things we need to understand, and this is something that some of you, most of you probably won't know who I'm about to say, but there was a very famous martial artist by the name of Ed Parker who often said, "He who hesitates meditates, usually in a horizontal position," right? Which often meant that if you hesitated in a fight, you got knocked out, right? And so we want to move through the world having the balance between risk taking and having the highest probability of success. So Alicia says, I blame myself for everything. Well, we can fix that if you want. Okay, we can fix that. Anyway, let me go ahead and finish this summary of the identity by design process, and then we're going to get into that technique I teased you about at the beginning of the webinar that makes everything easier. I actually gave you the answer. So for those of you with eyes to see and ears to hear, keep it to yourself until I drop the bomb, but you'll recognize it once you hear it. So next thing we're going to do with identity by design is we're going to actually change your internal dialogue. Most of us have this voice in our head that's constantly telling us all the crappy reasons why we don't deserve things, or why we shouldn't take a risk, or why we shouldn't go for something. These voices never started out as our voice. We acquired them from the dominant caregivers in our life, the authority figures in our life. But over time, our autonomic nervous system internalizes a little subroutine that keeps these voices going. Now, again, the idea is to keep you safe. But again, your unconscious mind does not think in terms of long-term survival. It's only thinking about what works in the moment, which is the problem. You see, your unconscious mind is every bit as smart as you are. In fact, it's often smarter. The problem is it doesn't have a time sense as we understand. It doesn't think about the long-term consequences of the decisions it makes. All right, which is why we keep repeating the same problems over and over again, or the same problematic behavior keeps happening in different situations. Your unconscious mind looks at its filing cabinet and says, this is what's happening. Have we ever done this before? Yes. What did we do? Okay, we'll do that. That's literally how your unconscious mind does the vast majority of its processing. Part of that goes to your internal dialogue, that little voice inside your head. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, it's the little voice inside your head that just said what voice, right? So one of the first things that we do, or actually, as you can see, it's the fourth thing that we do in identity by design, is we actually change that for you. We take that voice that is your worst, most violent, most vicious critic and turn it into the greatest cheerleader you could ever hope for. The voice of love and support and guidance and wisdom and understanding that we should have had for all those years. And I got to tell you, when we do this as a group, when we do this with our clients and in our healing intensives, which is coming up, by the way, in a couple of weeks, if you want to get in on it, there isn't a dry eye in the house. It's amazing how such a simple little process can dramatically change everyone's worldview. Every time I do this with my groups and with my students, I'm amazed at just how changing a person's internal dialogue can make all the difference in the world. Okay. Then we're going to talk about what if we could, for example, take all the crap, all the negativity from your past, separate it out, drain all the energy from it, and move that energy into all your positive memories so that when you look back on the past, you only remember it in ways that make your life better. That's stage 5 of IBD. Okay. Then we're going to take that whole sequence from general negativity to the temporal editing. We're going to take all this and we're going to install it. We're going to install it in the DNA level. And if you're familiar with epigenetics or any of Bruce Lipton's work, this is where using hypnotic processes, energetics, deep trance identification, and other technologies, we're going to go in and we're going to actually install these things as programs in your DNA level so that as your system evolves, it automatically applies these processes via your genetic memory. Right? It's really cool. Right? And then finally, we take all the traits, qualities, and characteristics of people who you want to be more like, of people whose attributes you aspire to have for yourself, and we show you how to install those through a process called deep trance identification. Okay, that's the entire identity by design process. The techniques I'm going to be sharing with you throughout the course of this webinar are derived directly from this system. Obviously, I can't go through every single thing, right? So I'm going to cherry pick some things based on the things you want to work on. We'll pick the tools, we'll pick the targets, and we'll go to town. So what I'd like you guys to do right now, I'm going to go ahead and switch out of screen capture mode and go back to me talking to you directly. So first thing we're going to do is I'm going to give you that first gift. I want to teach you a very, very simple, I'm going to teach you two principles right off the bat that will change everything for you if you actually apply them. If I teach them to you, do you promise to apply them? Type yes, I promise in the chat. Cool. All right. So the first principle is true when you're dealing with humans, whether it's yourself or anybody else. If you understand this one principle, you can reverse engineer a lot of other stuff. You won't have to if you grab our technologies, but you can do that. It's the hard way to do it, but it's possible for you. All right, here's the first thing. Everything human beings do is in response to a feeling. It's either a feeling they want more of or a feeling they want a whole lot less of. I'm going to repeat that 3 times. Anytime I find something that I think you really need to internalize and take with you, I'm going to repeat it 3 times. Everything human beings do is in response to a feeling they want more of or a feeling they want a whole lot less of. Third and final time. Everything human beings do is in response to a feeling. It's a feeling they either want more of or a feeling they want a whole lot less of. Is that pretty straightforward? Is there any ambiguity in what I said? Carol Ann? Hey, good to see you, Carol Ann. There's Fawzia from Australia. Couldn't be more clear. Okay. Now, I could spend easily an hour or more just talking about that one principle and why it's so gosh darn important for everything. But that particular principle leads us to our second principle, which is what I promised you at the beginning of the webinar, how to make your life faster and easier. Let me ask you a question. What if it were possible? How would your life change if you could be up to 31% better at everything? Let me repeat that. How would your life change if you could be up to 31% better at every single thing you do, from learning to applying what you learned to more success in relationships, to finances, to business? How would that change your life if you could get up to 31% better results more consistently? I would relax more. Okay. It's kind of ironic that you said that, Melanie. I'm going to tell you in a minute why that is. Here's why. All you have to do to be up to 31%, maybe more, better at everything is to be playful. And I'm talking for you therapists and coaches out there, those of you healers out there who deal with the most heinous stuff another human being can experience or another human being can do to another human being. Even that, if you can embrace an energy of playful curiosity, easygoing, let's see what happens kind of a process or a mindset and energy, if you can transfer that to your clients, they will be up to 31% more successful at everything they do. Now, I first heard that from a very well-known gentleman in the influence fields by the name of Chris Voss. Chris Voss, I believe he was doing a podcast for a real estate podcast. And he was talking about how when they were measuring the effects of certain energies or attitudes, for those who don't know who Chris Voss was, he's the man who wrote Never Split the Difference. His company is called Black Swan. And he was the lead negotiator for the FBI for decades, right? He had certain third world dictators and mercenaries and rebel leaders on speed dial and things of that nature. And what he discovered, and what the whole FBI discovered, was that when the hostage negotiator entered into that interaction in a playful, easygoing, explorational, aw shucks kind of an energy, let's see what's happening kind of energy, he was up to 31% more aware, 31% more perceptive, 31% more persuasive, charismatic. He learned things faster. Right? I'm using he in the editorial sense. It was obviously could have been a female as well. The bottom line is you could up your scores in anything up to 31% just by being playful. Now, for me, that was it wasn't a game changer for me. And I'll tell you why. I learned that when I was in my early 20s from a man in the martial arts, the late Grandmaster Remy Presas. Remy Presas was known as the father of modern arnis. He literally brought one of the earliest people to bring Filipino martial arts to this country. And I trained extensively with a professor for many years. And one of the things that professor would always insist on when we would go in to train, he demanded that we be smiling. He would say, David, if you're having fun, you will learn. Right. And he would he would just be cracking jokes and everybody be smiling and people learn that stuff, some very complicated movements and flow patterns very, very quickly, quicker than I've seen in other Filipino martial arts systems who don't necessarily embrace that. Right. But be that as it may, that was my first introduction to this idea of playfulness as an accelerant to learning. And remember, reprogramming the subconscious mind, guys and gals, is all about learning. That's what your subconscious mind does. Every problem you manifest, you learned, right? Every solution you've come up with, you learned, right? In one way, you did it fast, you did it slow, doesn't matter. You learned. So if we approach every single thing that we do with this fun, playful, easygoing attitude, we're going to get up to 31% bump in our results just from that. Now, for some of us, we have become so habituated into these less than positive states, we have to actually work at being playful. Well, we have ways to do that. Okay. The other piece that I want to share with you, and my guy Seth is on the call here. He's the one who does all my research and fact checking, make sure I'm not full of shit. How many reps does it take to build one new nerve cell or to make one new neurological connection? Anybody other than Seth? Anybody know? How many repetitions of something does it take to wire in a new brain circuit or a neural pathway? Just throw out some numbers. Jared, we're not talking about days. We're talking about repetitions to build one new neuron. Carol Ann says 10,000. That's actually right. The science says if you want to create one new neuron, think about how many neurons Einstein had. That was a lot of freaking thinking, right? To create one new neuron, you need 10,000 repetitions, unless you're playful. And if you're playful, Seth, type it in the chat. How many repetitions do you need to build one new neuron? 12. 12. 1, 2. 10 plus 2. 12. Same neuron, different state, faster results. That's the neuroscience. So once again, if you're serious about changing and reprogramming your subconscious mind, 10,000 repetitions. If you gamify it and you're playful with it, 12. Don't believe me? Check the science, right? And that's why I'm giving this to you right up front. The more playful you are with this information, the more powerfully your neurology changes. Here's a couple more principles that I want to share with you. Now we're going to do a drill for accessing playful states or pleasure states. If you'd rather do pleasure, pleasure works just as well. In fact, sometimes it works better. Okay. So first and foremost, what we're dealing with here is not the wonderful world of woo. Trust me, I've got a huge archive of woo-ness that we could talk. We're not talking about woo today. We're talking about the neuroscience of reprogramming your autonomic nervous system and everything that passes through it, which is pretty much everything. So the first thing is Ashley says, I'm laughing just hearing of the word playful. Okay. Now, again, at the risk of venturing too far into the woo, you hear little and read little hints at this idea in all the old mystery books, the Bible, the Quran, the I don't remember if it's in the Talmud or not, but the bottom line is there's a lot of hints that these writings give you, but a lot of these things were kept secret. Well, if you're always so serious, we need to fix that, right? And that's why the drills I'm going to share with you are so important. If all you did was change the state you were in to playfulness before you started doing affirmations, you'd probably manifest everything you want faster. But the moment you get serious, the moment you put supreme willpower and effort into the reprogramming process, you slow it down. In our trainings, we have this principle we teach called the law of unconscious response. Law of unconscious response says the more you try to consciously force the unconscious mind to do something, the more rapidly and deeply you'll get either no effect or the opposite of what you want. Just as an example, how many of you have ever had trouble sleeping? Anybody? Okay. How many of you have ever tried to will yourself to go to sleep? How'd that work? Didn't, right? Now, here's an interesting idea. Yeah. Some people try to do this with blood pressure. Their blood pressure is high. They try to will their body to relax. Their blood pressure goes up. Okay. You have to completely let go and have fun and be playful if you want the unconscious mind to do its job. You have to get out of your own way. Okay. So I'm going to give you that. So what the autonomic nervous system creates, the autonomic nervous system accepts. Okay. Anything your neurology has created, whether subjectively or objectively in your life, your nervous system can change. Your nervous system never resists itself. And if you understand that principle, then you can create any change with very few exceptions. I've found very, 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 very few cases where this is not true. Okay. But if you understand that the human nervous system always accepts what it creates, then you can make any change you want for any reason that you want. But playfulness has to come first. Your state has to come first. Does that make sense? If you want to program yourself faster, deeper, more powerfully than ever before, you got to be playful. You got to have fun with it. You got to gamify it. Does that make sense? I'm going to keep saying, does that make sense till I get responses? Okay, very good. Here's the next piece. So for the next drill, what we're going to do now is we are going to experience some of the magic of your nervous system. Now, the secret to this is not to try, to be playful. Exactly, Lisa. Be playful like a little child, right? When you're 5 years old, out in the backyard playing pretend, toy soldier, or with your Barbie dolls, and you're having conversations with your dolls, or you're shooting imaginary bad guys. For the first 5 or 6 minutes you're out there, you know you're just making it up. And about 5 or 6 minutes in, they're real bad guys, they're real Barbies are talking to each other, and you're having a ball. That's what we're looking for. That's the kind of playfulness, like when you're a little kid playing pretend. If you can do that, and I know all you can create any change you want if you just follow a few mechanical steps. You don't have to believe it. You just have to follow the process. Okay. So by a show of hands, how many of you here on the webinar have ever been little children? Just type me in. Just type in the chat. Oh, great. We got people actually know how to raise their hands in the Zoom room. Excellent. Okay. So remember when you were a little kid? Remember your favorite game of pretend and what you were doing, right? That's all we're going to do. All right. So here's how this works. What I'm going to need you guys to do right now is I'm going to need you to make sure you're not operating a vehicle. In other words, if you're driving a car or a boat or an airplane, for God's sakes, or anything that requires your full and undivided attention, you need to stop right now and either turn off this webinar, or you need to pull off to the side of the road, land the plane, right? Dock the boat, throw the anchor, right? Whatever you're doing. But you need to make sure that you can do this process safely, because it does, involve you to closing your eyes. And it also involves altered states, or accessing a type of altered state that most people aren't used to accessing. It's not hypnosis as most people understand it. It's what we call a neurologically absorptive trance. Um, and it's really fun. It's a lot of fun. In fact, you could change your whole life with just the couple of games that we're going to play on tonight's webinar. Okay. Um, and like I said, we're going to go through foundations in part 1. Part 2, I'm going to teach you about how to get access to the complete system. And then part 3, we're going to take the foundations that we lay in level 1, and we're going to customize them to your applications. Okay. So, okay, well, let's do this then. All right. So I'm going to step back from my computer a little bit. I want you guys to if you want to stand up, you can stand up. I can't stand up because I don't have the same adjustability on my camera that I used to have. I want you guys to kind of stand up, close your eyes, and I want you to think of a time in your life, remember a time in your life when you felt the most amazing, wonderful, satisfying, fulfilling, thrilling pleasure ever. Now, I'm not the pleasure police. I don't care what you were doing. I don't care who you were with. I don't care what substances were involved. I don't care if you crossed any state lines. I don't care. All I care about is that you are having the most fun humanly possible in that moment. Pleasure, playfulness, whatever combination thereof works for you, use that. And I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to just remember that amazing experience. Okay. I want to guide people through this exercise. I always wonder, you don't have to type it in the chat, just be fully present in this process. When you're in that place, what might you be seeing when you're in that place? What might you be hearing? What might you be smelling? What might you be tasting? Because when you do that, when you're in that place, and you see what you see, and you hear what you hear, and you smell and you taste what you smell and you taste, there's an amazing, wonderful, absolutely pleasurable, fun-filled feeling that you get. A feeling of absolute joy, pleasure, playfulness, whatever word it is. I want you to just be there. And as you do, I'd like you to notice that there's a place in your body where those amazing feelings start, where they grow, where they spread from. Take a moment. Notice where you feel that and point to it. As you point to it, I'd like you to look at it with your inner eyes. And I'd like you to notice that there's a color, maybe even a series of colors connected to those amazing feelings. What color or colors might that be for you? First impression, whatever pops up first, that's what you go with. Now I'd like you to imagine a brilliant ball of that energy floating above your head. I'd like you to notice how the feelings in your body shift and changes with every breath you take and every beat of your heart. That amazing ball of energy begins to grow, begins to expand, begins to fill the entire room from floor to ceiling, from wall to wall, and all points in between. Notice how it wraps itself around you like an amazing blanket of pleasure. A cocoon, a shield, a suit of armor, insulating you, protecting you from all bummers, all downers, all less than positive sensations, real or imagined, while at the same time flooding your mind, flooding your body, flooding your spirit with everything it most wants, everything it most needs, in an infinite, ever expanding, and unlimited supply. And when you know you've got that, I want you to breathe those amazing colors through your entire being. Let it fill you up like water fills up a bottle, like fluid fills up a test tube, like hot air or helium fills up a balloon. Anchor it in so fully, so completely, no force in the universe can turn it off or take it away, not even you. And when you realize it's true, it's locked in, my friend, I want you to test it. Try to turn it off. Try to make it go away. And notice what happens instead. And when you're satisfied, you can stop testing, Allow that energy to flow even stronger through your mind, through your body, through your spirit. Let it make all your tingly parts tingle in the most wonderful way imaginable, and just enjoy it. And when you know you've got that, it's locked in, allow your eyes to open. Notice how good you feel. And type what you discovered and what you learned in the chat. Ashley says, I couldn't stop laughing, not that I wasn't already. Very good. Excellent. Lisa says, smiling from ear to ear. Kathleen says she couldn't hold the good feeling through the exercise. Then you probably wound up changing your posture, or you triggered something that needs to be cleared, which we'll show you how to do. Nancy says, I realized I'm most happy after I see a client, help them, and live my purpose. Perfect. Okay. All right. Hosto says, I got stuck trying to find my happy place. Okay. So now we know where to go. So this is one of the first things that we need to talk about. And we'll pick it up again in part 3 of the webinar. But one of the things that this exercise does for us is it teaches us that we can access pleasurable feelings on demand. And there's a simple, easy way to do that. Okay. If you ever watch some of my, been to one of my seminars, you'll see little signs outside of the seminar room says, if you can point to where you feel it, you can change it. Nuria says, I felt my heart beating in my throat and my ears. Well, I'm assuming that was a hell of a pleasurable experience, Nuria. I'm kind of jealous, right? Well done. Okay. So I'm curious, what happened when you tried to turn the good feelings off? What'd you notice? Okay. They're like, oh, I can't make it go away. That's true. Nancy says, I couldn't and didn't want to. Yes, that's how you know you're done, right? So let me explain the many dimensions. Jody says, I could not access any other state. Perfect. All right, let me explain to you why this is so important. So Carol Ann says, I have aphantasia, which is the inability to voluntarily visualize mental images. We'll spend more time. Carol Ann, it's very simple. Turn it into something you do well. You don't have to use a color. You can use a sound, a smell, a taste, anything you want. Okay. We use visual because it's got the greatest bandwidth in the brain, but it's not the only way to get there. I can do it through the visual cortex. I can do it through the auditory cortex. I can do it through kinesthetic, olfactory, or gustatory cortex, right? Sometimes it's just knowing what the color is, right? It works. Okay. You're not stuck if you don't see colors, right? I've done this very well on people with aphantasia, actually. If you charge the pressure point on the back of their neck, after a while, they'll start seeing little flashes of colors and interesting things like that. Be that as it may. The 2 reasons that we do this drill. A, it lays the foundation for what we call enhanced neuroplasticity. Your body secretes a substance called oxytocin in the face of intense pleasure, or when experiencing intense pleasure. So there's 3 or 4 ways that you can up your oxytocin count. First way is through 20 to 30 minutes of intense machine gun level orgasms. Probably logistically not optional in this particular venue, so we're going to put that one on the shelf. Another way is 20 minutes of very loving hugs. The other way is laughter. Okay. Another way that we can hack that system is by remembering intensely pleasurable experiences and stimulating as much of the nervous system to go back into that as humanly possible. When you start to generate that enhanced pleasure states, your brain becomes more plastic. In other words, the speed and ease with which it creates new neurons and new neurological connections accelerates. Okay, that's the biochemical, electrochemical reason why we do this. There's other reasons we do this too. A, it teaches us how to link up the different divisions of our neurology so that we get a clean message to the deepest, most powerful part of us. One of the problems we have with programming the subconscious mind is not every part of your neurology speaks the same language. not every part of your brain interprets information from one level of the brain to the next the same way. How many of you, by a show of hands, have watched the 6 keys to reprogramming or 6 dynamics of the unconscious response video? If not, I recommend after this webinar, you're going to get it. When you get your courses, you're going to get a face full of that. You've got to really overlearn that if you really want to do this. But so Spiderbite is asking, David, what do the different colors mean? They mean whatever they mean to you, Spiderbite. Okay. This is not color psychology as the West understands it. What happens is you have 2 filters in your neurology. One is called complex equivalence. The other is called cause and effect. And so when you take a sensation, pass it through one of the other cortexes of the brain, it transforms it into the material or the format, for lack of a better word, required for that part of your brain. So for example, if I were to say, think of a time in your life when you felt the most amazing, wonderful, awe-inspiring pleasure ever. And as you think about that, when you see what you see and you hear what you hear and you smell and you taste what you smell and you taste, what's that wonderful feeling like? And if that feeling had a sound, what sound might that be? First impression. And as you do that, notice that a sound or the name of a sound or type of sound emerges in your awareness. Why is that? Because you're taking a set of information from one part of the brain and transcoding it into the language of another part of your brain. This is what we do in NLP when we talk about mapping across. When we say we have something visual, what would that smell like? Well, all of a sudden your olfactory cortex gets stimulated, takes that same information and represents it in a smell, in a series of smells. We can do this all the time. The different layers of your brain are doing this all the time. It's going from the paleocortex to the limbic system to the neocortex. Well, the paleocortex and the limbic system, they only communicate in images, feelings, smells, sounds, sensations, emotions. Neocortex uses words and rationalizations. And so many times there's a huge translation issue from one level of the brain to the next. Now, do you need to know that to make change? No, we're going to bypass all that. If you can point to where you feel it, you can change it. But this is the first thing. Remember a time when you had a certain feeling. Notice where in your body you feel it. Turn it into a color. Breathe the color through your body. When you do that, your body is going to go deeper into the state that you've elicited. But what's also going to happen, and this is for some of you had some negative stuff coming up. What's going to happen also some of the times is if there's any limiter or anything that says you shouldn't be feeling this way to that degree, it's going to trigger those memories or those beliefs or those things that need to be resolved to come to the surface. It's going to force things into your conscious awareness so you can now fix them. Right? So as we're going through these little pleasure exercises and these color breathing exercises, if icky, nasty stuff comes up, notice where in your body those feelings arise, because using the techniques that we're going to teach you in part 3, you can get rid of them. You're going to dissolve them, right? So there's this one little drill that I gave you, gives you this huge bump in understanding yourself, okay? And Nancy's saying, do you teach NLP in cohorts? Yes, we have an amazing NLP curriculum that we've just finalized, and we just did our first new curriculum training, for lack of a better word, last month. So we'll probably be doing it again. Ashley says, those feelings piss me off. Great. If it pisses you off, you can change it. If it pisses, again, there's nothing inside of you you can't beat. I truly believe that. I truly believe that. Nancy says, one of your students changed my life for the better recently. Fantastic. That's why I teach, right? Paying it forward in the best way I know how. So all internal representations are limbic system only and neocortex is beyond it. No, I wouldn't go that far, Tweak. I would say there's an integration there. But what happens with the neocortical level, we call the neocortex the rational lying brain. And the reason that we do that is because the neocortex will take information that comes up from the deeper levels It will take that data point and build a story around it that may have absolutely nothing to do with the root cause of that data point. All right. For those of you who've been trained in hypnosis or are in psychotherapy or anything, or even medical medicine, you'll often hear something called the presenting problem. In our work, a person shows up at my clinic. They're saying, "Hey, I'm 30 pounds overweight. I need you to hypnotize me to lose weight." Well, guess what? The weight's not the problem. There's a reason they gained the weight, and there's a feeling connected to that reason. So when I regress them to cause, or I unpack the reason behind the weight gain, it's going to take me to a very, very different place than their conscious mind thought it would. Okay. Jeremy's saying, what if you want to get rid of negative feelings, not increase positive, but decrease? It's the same thing. It's the same mechanism. You just go a different direction. Believe me, all will be revealed, my friends. Okay. So how many of you noticed when you did your pleasure drill that less than positive, you had the good feeling, and if all you had was a good feeling, great, give yourselves a star. But how many of you noticed that when you did that, icky feelings came up, stuff you wanted to change? Yes, type it in the chat. Ashley says yes, sir. Hostile says forgiveness. Well, we'll talk about forgiveness another time. A lot of people put a lot of stock in forgiveness, and it's really therapeutic, but getting there can be a problem. And a lot of people have a really bad idea of what forgiveness is, and that's why that's why they can't forgive. Kathleen says not sure. Perfect. That's fine. You're allowed to be not sure. Okay. So let me see here. Okay. There's a lot of weird chatter going on in the YouTube channel that has nothing to do with this webinar. I'm not sure what's going on there, but that's all right. All right, so we're going to do one more thing before we go into part 2. We're going to show you the whole access to the system. Then we're going to circle back, and we're going to actually start doing some change work. So the first thing I want you guys to do is I want you to type in the chat. Is it still money that you guys want to work on, or is it something else? I know a lot of you were saying money, money, money. Is there something else? Weight loss. Okay. Taking action, future memory. Okay. Okay. Confidence. Okay. Genuine. Okay. All right. All right. So let's do this. Money. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. If it's okay with you, because I want to stay on track for the webinar, I'm going to go into phase 2 of the webinar. I'm going to talk about the programs and the packages we put together. I'm going to go through that as quickly as we can and give you guys an opportunity to be among the first to grab them. Then we're going to circle back for part 3, and we're just going to start cleaning house. Does that sound like a plan? So be sure to stay on till the end of the webinar, because we're going to do a lot of house clearing, right? Richard knows this very well. Some of you, Edie knows this very well. So Nancy says, I want to be a teacher helping clients. What are those programs? Oh, Nancy, believe me, we'll talk about it, all right? I'm excited to share it with you, but I want to keep on schedule for you all. All right, that being said, let me go ahead and with your permission, I'd like to teach you about something I'm very proud of. I spent a lot of years developing these systems, and I really am excited to help you guys with them. So with your permission, I'd like to talk to you about the Mastering Your Mind, Reality Programming, and Personal Transformation for Healing, Influence, and Success Home Study course. This is a program based on our Secrets of Personality Transformation protocols and the Identity by Design protocols. It's specifically designed to help you reprogram all the different things you want to change and get you beyond that. It's all about how to manifest wealth and abundance, align your mind with all the prosperity consciousness, and attract financial success effortlessly. It's going to teach you how to master persuasion and influence, starting with yourself. You'll learn how to get people to say yes by starting with getting yourself to say yes without restraining or resistance or using secret, black hat NLP techniques. This is all about helping you become a person of influence in your own mind so you can become a person of influence in the external world. Remember, one of the prime directives of your unconscious mind is to make your external reality match your internal one. I'm going to say that 2 more times because that's a prime directive. Just like survival, is a key factor. Whatever the mental map that you have inside of you is saying about how the world is supposed to be, your autonomic nervous system is going to do every single thing it can to manipulate you and move you in the direction that makes your external experience match your internal map. Okay. This is what NLP really kind of gave us an insight into, is this idea of mental maps and how they create your experience of the world. Right. We're going to teach you in this course. You'll learn how to systematically transform all of your relationships by transforming yourself. You'll learn how to build deep emotional connections, improve communication, and attract the right people into your life. You'll build unstoppable confidence and charisma. This sounds an awful lot like an influence program. I'm almost starting to wonder if I got the wrong slide here, but that's all right. You'll break free from fear and procrastination. Now we're getting back to it. Unstoppable confidence and charisma, and create rapid, lasting transformation. Remember, influence goes inside and it works outside. And so one of the things that happens is, as we remove the resistance within ourself, we will tend to automatically dissolve and remove the resistance we experience outside of us. It's one of those weird mirror effects of the autonomic nervous system. Okay. People are constantly reflecting back to us our own internal map. If we can change the map, we can change everything. Now, everything I'm going to share with you is good. It's available until June 16th, 2025 at 11:59 p.m. Now, for those of you, I usually do this on Pacific time. I'm currently in Florida right now, so I'm on Eastern time, but we're going to extend that. So you have until 1 p.m. Eastern or 11:59 p.m. Pacific to take advantage of this. Okay. So what does the Mastering Your Mind training program actually include? Well, there's 14 videos. Each video is taking you step by step through the entire identity by design process, the mind control training silo we created to teach people how to become amazing versions of the person they truly want to be, instead of the person that education, family, religion, culture, government conspired to make them. You see, each and every one of us has inside a spark that seeks to self-actualize, that seeks to become the unique version of itself that would make it the happiest. But from the time we're born to the time we come out, all of these different agencies are trying to program us, to manipulate us, to make us fit the molds they want us to fit instead of the mold that makes us happy. This program is designed to break those molds so you can write your own ticket in this life and become the person you truly want to be. We're going to start by clearing the unconsciously held negativity and emotions and beliefs you didn't even know you had. We're going to do that by provoking them. We're going to do it by asking the unconscious mind to give us specific types of symbols and processes that allow us to flush the crap out of the system, stuff you didn't even know you had. We're going to teach you how to remove the unconscious safety rules, the secret rules that your neurology has in place for keeping you doing the same limiting behaviors over and over and over again, or keep manifesting the same blocks over and over again. Once you go in and you reprocess and refile the safety rules, as you see them mentioned here, the system is happy to let you move forward in whatever way is appropriate for you. But until you remove those safety lessons, your own autonomic nervous system will work against you. It will stop you from doing things that it believes will endanger you. Okay? And we'll teach you how to remove those negative voices in your head that seem to hold you back. The voices that always tell you, you don't deserve this, you should have done better, you should have studied more, it's not worth it, it's too much money, it's too much time, it's too much energy, you're not good enough, you don't deserve this, blah, blah. All that crap didn't come from you. It came from outside of you, and you recorded it. Remember, guys, you are not the way you are because of the things that happened to you. You are the way you are because of the way you recorded the things that happened to you and how you've been relating to those recordings. One of the most obvious examples of that is the voice inside your head. And part 3 or 4 of this webinar, of this silo, is just going in and changing that voice forever. Okay, it's super, super powerful. Your life will never be the same once you've gone through it. We're going to teach you how to install the 4 pillars of personal power and success. 4 pillars that lead to more achievement faster than any other system or any other states. relentless determination, a sense of playfulness, a sense of curiosity, a sense of being victorious and triumphant. These are the positive states that move the neurology forward, that cause you to see potentials and opportunities and take the steps necessary to manifest those opportunities as a reality in your life. We're going to show you a very powerful process for installing these 4 states. But not only that, once you've gone through that process, you'll be able to take that process. It's called Pillars of Power, by the way, and you'll be able to program into your own mind and body, your own neurology, any state you want. You'll have the exact mechanics for how to do it. So you can keep customizing and optimizing your entire system to be the person you want to be, feel the way you want to feel on demand, and fewer and fewer people will ever be able to push your buttons for any length of time ever again. Then we're going to teach you how to completely sanitize and remove the negativity from all of your past memories and your traumas. We're going to drain the energy out of those. We're going to smash those memories like panes of glass. And we're going to take that energy and we're going to flood it into all of your positive memories and make your positive memories even stronger so that when you look back on the past, you only look back on it in ways that empower you, only in ways that inspire you and excite you about the future. And the other thing that most people don't realize is that your neurology is constantly predicting what's going to happen for you in your future based on what you've experienced in the past. So if you go back and you change all that past programming, everything about the predictive aspect of your neurology shifts automatically. That's one of the most powerful things we can do. And as we clean up our past, our future gets better. Okay. Books you want to reference for that are 7.5 Lessons About the Brain by Dr. Lisa Feldman Barrett and The Power of Bad by Roy Baumeister. And I forget what the co-author was, but anyway, then we're going to teach you how to install all of these steps. How to clear the negative held beliefs, how to get rid of the satrals, the negative voices, the 4 pillars, the relieving, the sanitizing the negativity and past memories and traumas. We're going to teach you how to install that as a template at the genetic level so that it automatically goes into activation anytime you're faced with a situation, circumstance, event, memory, or belief that's less than positive, that limits you in any way. Then we're going to teach you how to take the traits, qualities, and characteristics of people you truly admire, the genius, skills, and abilities of others, and how to install that on top of the idealized version of yourself that you've been creating this whole time. We're also going to include a full manual that has all these techniques and a whole lot more in there. It's called the Real World Hypnosis Identity by Design Course Manual. You're actually going to get a couple copies of this, and then we're going to talk about a community that you're going to be invited to join a bit later. So the whole value on this is $2,497. Now, obviously, it's a webinar, so we don't want to just give this to you, although you can see the value of it in and of itself, the changes that it can make in your life. But if you act today, if you click on the links when they appear in your chat, then we're also going to give you a couple of extra really amazing bonuses. And this is one of my favorite bonuses. This is called Hidden Laws of Attraction, the Ultimate Manifestation Mastery Home Study Course. Now, I promised you I wouldn't go too far into the woo. So let's talk about how you manifest things based purely on the dynamics of your autonomic nervous system. Once again, you need to find and remove the blocks to your health, wealth, success, and happiness that you didn't know you had. We're going to show you how to become a money magnet, how to find the limiting beliefs that keep you from attracting and holding on to your money. And we're going to show you how to install the beliefs and opportunities and programs that cause you to become more magnetic, that either will draw the money to you or draw you to the money. Right? We're going to teach you how to influence people remotely. There's 3 or 4 different ways that you can use these powerful manifestation techniques to make people more amenable to the things you want, directly and indirectly. We're going to teach you how to clear up issues that just don't seem to go away. If, for example, in relationships, if you keep manifesting the same boyfriend with a different face, or the same girlfriend with the same mother-in-law, or whatever, this will show you how to clean that up once and for all. Right? If you keep reaching the same milestones in your business or relationship, then everything goes kablooey over and over and over again. We'll show you how to find out why that's happening based on what your nervous system's programming is and how to change it once and for all. Super, super powerful. We're going to teach you the most powerful way to actually give your nervous system affirmations that have the highest probability of being grabbed, installed, accepted, and acted upon because they're in alignment with the actual structure of how your nervous system processes information at the deepest level. We've played with this before. If you've ever seen our information protocols, they're super, super powerful. And you're going to get a deep dive training in how to do this for yourself, by yourself, on yourself, really. We're going to delete negativity and vibrational imprints from your past. That includes past lives, that includes past lovers. Because a lot of times what happens is when we are intimate with somebody, there's an energetic, neurological mirror neuron connection that can cause that person's influence on us to affect us in different ways. So we're going to show you how to cut those cords metaphorically and literally, and how to kind of what I call degaussing the system, right? To clean out those imprints once and for all. Finally, we're going to teach you how to install the traits, qualities, and characteristics of people who scientifically are considered luckier than average, right? I talked about this several times. There's 5 or 6 psychological attributes that all naturally lucky people share. Now, we all have those attributes to a greater or lesser degree, but naturally lucky people have these in abundance. They are dominant in their personality. And by understanding what those traits are and how the system, your nervous system actually modulates the intensity and dominance of those systems, you can actually turn yourself into a more lucky, serendipitous, synchronicitous person. It's really cool. I've been experimenting with these luck traits for almost 2 decades now, and they truly do move the needle. And then if you stack other things on top of that, you'll find that you become a manifestation machine. It's really, really powerful. So we'll also teach you one of the most powerful linear manifestation techniques I've ever come across. So powerful, it's been known to cure rats from cancer in double-blind, animal-controlled laboratory tests on medical universities. It was inspired in me by a great man, the late Bill Bankston, who created a program called the Bankston Healing Method, which he wrote about in a book called The Energy Cure and Hands-on Healing, which I highly recommend if you are interested in where the modern science meets the quantum science world. I really highly recommend you study Dr. Bankston's work. It was fundamental and foundational in transforming a lot of the things we do here on Planet David, and so much more. There's so much in this course, and it works so synergistically with the Master Your Mind protocols that we often combine them. Total value on this is $1,497. But once again, we're not done yet. We've got a couple more really amazing bonuses for you. So just stick with me. All right. This is the Hidden Laws of Attraction once again. We're also going to include the Identity by Design Hypnotherapy Home Study Program. Now, Master Your Mind, Secrets of Personality Transformation is all about doing the Identity by Design silo on yourself, by yourself. But let's be honest, a lot of you mentioned that you want to be able to make more money. You want to attract more wealth, that you feel more fulfilled helping other people. This is the course that will let you do that. This course is designed for people who aspire to become professional healers. It's designed for people who want to use the techniques of NLP, energy psychology. Pardon me while I take a drink. Forgive me for that. I was getting that itch in my throat that says I've been talking way too long, way too fast. This course is designed for people who want to actually make money doing this with other people. And once again, you'll learn instant and rapid inductions. You'll learn the secrets of the 6 dynamics of an unconscious response. You learn the secrets of body-centered energy psychotherapy. And again, you'll help your clients you'll be able to hypnotize anyone, anytime, anywhere, for any reason. Remove blocks to success and limiting beliefs. Find and remove the hidden blocks to negativity that your clients didn't even know they had. Clear up issues that just don't seem to go away. You'll be able to remove chronic pain, in many cases in just minutes. Change that crappy voice in your head to something that builds them up instead of tearing them down. Install the traits, qualities, and characteristics of people you truly admire, and so much more. This is actually also includes your first regression technique. If you've ever heard of a technique called the gift, you actually will learn it in this course. It's your first regression technique, and it's profound in its ability to just change everything about you. You can see a few versions of me doing that on our YouTube channel if you're curious about what you'll be getting. What else do I teach? The instant and rapid inductions is probably one of the most transformational. You'll learn how to deal with people who are freaking out, like hardcore freaking out, which is one of the biggest fears that most hypnotists, most neurolinguistic programmers, most change workers, it's actually what keeps them from going full blown into trauma release and things like that, is they don't know how to handle these super explosive clients. We actually put you through drills designed to systematically desensitize you so that you're going to be super calm as a cucumber under pressure. Um, over the years, we've discovered the fastest, best way to prepare therapists for doing this work in the real world. And we've distilled most of it into the building blocks of the identity by design system. It will take you from zero to hero in just a few short days. Right? I recommend that you supplement this with coming to one of our live identity by design trainings. But if this is all you've got and you've got other credentials that you're working with, this is a great value add to any kind of coaching, any kind of therapeutic work. It is truly, truly, in my belief, it's truly the most powerful hypnotherapy system on the planet. I truly believe that, and I will stand by it, and I will put it against anything, and I mean anything. Okay, and you can get access to it. It's a $1,497 value as a home study course. We're going to give this to you free. Total combined value so far is $5,491. We're also going to include one of my favorite programs. This is the real world conversational hypnosis, stealth CPI, universal persuasion protocol level 1 training. Now, let me explain why I'm including a persuasion course in with the how to reprogram your subconscious mind. It's actually makes perfect sense. Most of what we're teaching you in this package is about influencing yourself. But as you notice, when we get into identity by design, now we're transitioning into using these skills with other people. It does you no good to have the most powerful inner game on the planet without the best tools on the planet to get the biggest bang for your buck. And that's why we're including the stealth CPI conversational persuasion and influence protocol training. This is going to teach you the 6-stage universal persuasion process that will allow you to confidently exert the most powerful level of hypnotic influence anytime, anywhere, under any circumstance, for any reason. It will systematically allow you to emotionally bond with anyone so that you get maximum compliance in minimum time. People will be salivating to do what you want them to do. They'll be highly motivated to follow your instructions on a therapeutic level because you're speaking to the thing that motivates them most using language their nervous system can't resist. Okay, that's a big claim. Again, don't believe me, test it. I'm going to teach you the 7 most powerful hypnotic language patterns that exist. Patterns that allow you to control a person's focus of awareness, to automate subconscious programs and create different levels where a person can literally watch themselves doing something in their own mind and they can't stop it from happening. I'm going to teach you how to make anything you want seem to cause anything you want in the minds of your listeners, how to make anything you want seem to mean anything you want in the minds of your listeners, even if those things have absolutely nothing in common. You see, one of the things that happens with the unconscious is we create these cause and effect relationships, or this behavior, this situation means this thing for me types of relationships in our mind. And there are filters that control that. These language patterns go right to those filters and allow you to change them so you can change limiting beliefs into positive beliefs in just a few seconds. Once you understand how to do the languaging, it's super, super powerful. Right? It'll teach you, people will automatically start to like, love, and trust you just by showing up. No one will be ever be able to push your buttons ever again because you'll have such powerful control over your own psycho-emotional states that you'll be able to function anywhere, anytime, under any circumstance. Again, really powerful. And I include this in here primarily because I want you to have the outer game tools as well. Reprogram Your Subconscious Mind is all about what's going on inside your head. Stealth CPI is all about how to get what's in your head out into the world in the most powerful, unstoppable, irresistible way possible without sounding vague, creepy, or confusing. It's a $1,950 value if you register before the end of the webinar. The total combined value on this package so far is $7,441. But again, we're not done, because one of the things that when it comes to reprogramming your subconscious mind or the subconscious minds of other people, you're going to encounter objections. You're going to encounter resistance. You're going to encounter limiting beliefs. So we're going to give you one of the most powerful belief changing system we know of. This is called the Renegade Reframing Conversational Belief Change Program. It literally will teach you how to rapidly change beliefs and instantly overcome any objection in just minutes. You'll be able to overcome objections anytime, anywhere, win any argument, or change any belief just by talking. And that includes your own. In fact, one of the first things we do with students who take this class is we have them write down all the limiting beliefs they're conscious of. And then as we teach them these different patterns, they apply them to their limiting beliefs, and they can't go back to believing the same way ever again. It will completely transform that map inside your head of what you're allowed to have, what you deserve, what you think you can get, what you don't think you can get. Stop for a moment and think about this. And again, this is a rhetorical question, but I want you to really do it in your mind. What if for every excuse you've ever made, every excuse you've ever been given, every objection or no that you've been told, either directly or indirectly, what if for every limiting belief you've ever been faced with, you had at least 14 different ways to change that to something better in less than 30 seconds? What could you do with a superpower like that? That's exactly what Renegade Reframing is all about. It's about teaching you the 14 most powerful belief transforming patterns that exist, that are practically unstoppable, and how to ethically use them to free your mind, master your thoughts, and control your destiny. Okay. And that's what it's about. And there's two things you need to understand. I told you I would give you this at the beginning of the webinar. There's two things that you need to be successful in life. The first one is identity. Identity is built from your belief systems. What you believe you deserve, what you believe you don't deserve, what you believe you're not capable of, what you believe you are capable of, what you believe you can do or be in a certain environment, what you believe you can or cannot be in a certain environment, what your mission here on the planet is or what your mission is not. All of these are basic beliefs, and you can change every single one of them through these 14 patterns applied to your own mind and body. Then you can take that and apply it to other people in other situations, whether it's a spouse, whether it's a child who doesn't want to do their homework, whether it's someone giving you a parking ticket, doing jury selection. Lots of different ways to use these patterns to change limiting beliefs. And that's what this, and again, and I think you can see from a practical standpoint why we would include this course with the stuff that's all about reprogramming your inner world as well as communicating with the outer world. There's no place where this training won't be useful for you. And if you practice and you play with it, we even include a game. We call it the reframe game. There's a card game that comes in the manual. You print them out, you cut out the cards, and you can actually play little card games with people and challenge each other's beliefs and reframe them into oblivion. It's a lot of fun, right? It's $1,950 value. We're going to give this to you absolutely free. The total combined value is $9,391. So let's just review really quick everything we've talked about. So you're going to get the Secrets of Personality Transformation Master Your Mind program. It's 14 videos plus the manual. It's going to teach you all the nuances of the 7-stage identity design process. $2,497 value. You're going to get the Hidden Laws of Attraction, Mind, Magic, and Manifestation Masterclass, $1,497 value. You're going to get the Identity by Design Hypnotherapy Home Study Program. Again, if you want to add an extra revenue stream to your current business, this is a great way to do it. If you want to start a side hustle, this is a great way to do it. It takes you from zero to hero in the shortest amount of time possible. It's only $1,497. It's $1,497 value. We're going to give this to you free. Why? We want you to succeed. We want you to have all the best tools, right? We're going to give you the Stealth CPI Universal Persuasion Protocol training. This was the training for me that really changed my life. This is what allowed me to go through my entire undergraduate education on writing scholarships, to be approached to run the school newspaper at the OSU campus to be recruited by the admissions departments on all the college campuses that I worked on, to be nominated the regional or president of Phi Theta Kappa. All these things I can track directly back to the skills that I teach in this course. And I want to share them with you because they've changed my life in ways I can't even begin to describe without sounding like I'm either making shit up or just bragging, right? And I'm not going to do that for you. I want you to discover the power in this system. It's a $1,950 value, but I'm going to give it to you for free. I want you to have this. I want you to use it. I want you to transform everything. And finally, but definitely not least, the Renegade Reframing, how to overcome any objection and change any belief in normal conversations instantly. It's a $1,950 value. Total combined value on this is $9,391. Now, obviously, most of us don't have an extra $391 laying around. So for today, I want to give you the best deal I can. I want to give you the best deal that I think is ethical to offer, that will give you the right amount of investment with the greatest amount of return. So you're not going to pay $93.91, and you're not going to pay $53.47 or $33.47. As you can see, the price is dropping. I'm not even going to charge you $14.97, but would that be a good deal though, if I were to charge you $14.97? But I'm not. I'm going to ask you for one low installment, one low investment in yourself of just $7.97. I'm going to give it all this stuff. And if you need to, you can break that up into smaller installments. You can break that up into 3 easy installments of just $3.97 each, which brings it back to our original webinar value package of $9.97. But hey, it's still a screaming deal for what it can do for you. Okay. All you got to do is click that link that shows up in your chat, www.nlppower.com/mind. Click the link, nlppower.com/mind. Click those links, and trust me, you want to be one of the first 15 people to do that. I'm not going to tell you why, but there might be some bonuses that show up. I don't know. Maybe. Or as I like to say, shmaybe, right? So go ahead and click that link in your chat right now, and we're going to keep going. Right. So for those of you who are wondering, is this really all that David's cracked up to be? Is this guy for real? Test me. Click your link, test your course for a full 60 days. If after the 60 days, you're not 100% on the fast track to manifesting more money, finding the love you want, attracting more success, removing the blocks to your success, getting over fears, phobias, removing pain from your life, and everything you want to move and change and transform. If by day 59, you haven't put a huge dent or completely eliminated the things holding you back and moving and fast tracking your life towards the things you want, we will refund every single penny that you've invested in this program. You have absolutely zero risk. Test it for full 59 days. If on day 60, you want your money back because you're not getting the results, we're okay with that. If it's not working for you, we don't want you to have it, right? We want you to find something that does. But I promise you, I've under described what these principles and tactics and techniques will do for you. Okay, I love this stuff so much I can't talk too much about it. But don't take my word for it. Ask some of the people in the chat who've used these skills and these technologies. Ask them what their experiences are as you're clicking the link, and make sure that you're in the right place. Make sure you're ready to be different. Okay. You try it for 60 days, click the link. And as if all this wasn't amazing enough already, if you grab your course before June 16th, 2025, 11:59 p.m., we're going to include some really cool fast action bonuses. Now, you probably knew that was coming. I probably gave you a little too much of a spoiler alert, but hey, that's just how I roll. Okay. Our first fast action bonus is a 3-month trial membership to the NLP Power Mastermind Mentoring Program. It's going to give you unlimited access to the entire 14-year video archive. Now, this is the longest running NLP and hypnosis adjacent technologies practice group on the planet. It's been running nonstop every month, month after month after month since October 2010. That's over 15 years. We've videotaped every single meeting and archive those on our Kajabi site. Parts of it are on our Facebook page. Parts of it are on our members only YouTube channel section. And some of it is archived on our NLP Power website. We're currently working on consolidating all of that into our Kajabi program or our Go High Level program. So you'll be able to access and binge watch the entire 14 years of content that's never been seen outside of Mastermind members. It's never been featured in a product. It's never been featured on a YouTube video. And it's a little bit it's member driven, so there'll be a lot of repetition from month to month to month because people have the same questions, but it covers everything from manifestation to trauma resolution, accelerated learning, NLP, hypnosis, hypnotherapy, energy psychology, body language, dating, attraction, seduction, money manifestations, enhanced memory, dealing with terminal and chronic illness, all kinds of energetic manifestations, spiritual development. If it's within my wheelhouse and people ask about it during the mastermind, we put it out there. So for those of you who aren't familiar with how the mastermind program actually works, we meet on the third Saturday of every month, usually from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Pacific. And basically, people log in. Sometimes, if I'm feeling extremely extroverted, I'll invite people to the actual NLP office, and we'll do it live. But I ask, Natalie, what do you want to learn? Nancy, what do you want to learn? Liza, what do you want to learn? John, what do you want to learn? Seth, what do you want to learn? Ricky, what do you want to learn? Right? And I write down what they tell me on the board, and I step back and I look at where they all kind of meet and connect. And for the next 20, 30 minutes, I drill you on those skills until you can do them in your sleep. And so you won't get a certificate from the NLP Power Mastermind Mentoring Program. What you will get is something much more valuable. You're going to get a community of friends and colleagues who are interested in the same things you are, that want to get better, that want to move the needle of their life. So you won't feel like you'll have people that you can actually talk to about this stuff without being afraid of being burned at the stake, right? Or people looking at you weird, like, why do you want to know that, right? Trust me, for those of you who are into this stuff, we geek out on it, and you deserve to be around people who geek out just like you. But even more importantly, and that's important, by the way, but even most importantly, what you're going to get from it is the skill, the qualities, the characteristics, the attributes that you want and need to develop so you can apply these things in your life. You get me. You get a team of highly advanced, well-trained community members who are vested in helping you become the best version of yourself and utilizing these techniques in the way that's most in harmony with who you choose to be instead of who the world's trying to make you. So, like I said, you won't get a certificate from the NLP Power Mastermind Mentoring Program. What you'll get is pretty much everything else. Now, if after 90 days you've got what you need, you're good to go, you just exit the program, no harm, no foul. If after 90 days you love it and you love the people and they love you and you love what you're learning and you want to keep the momentum going, we'll show you how to extend your membership. It's really, really simple. Okay. And we're going to give it to you for free. We're going to let you try it for a full 90 days. Total value on this is $1,597, and we're going to give it to you for free. Combined value is $10,988. But we're not done. For those of you who like quick starts, who want to click the link now and start now, this is going to be your favorite tool of all time. This is called the Stealth Instant Conversational Hypnosis Crash Course. This program I designed several years ago with the specific purpose of teaching people how to go from zero to hero in a couple of hours. So this comes with a ton of specialized videos. You only need to watch 2 of them to be awesome and start hypnotizing people in normal conversations right away. So there's 2 videos just on the most powerful hypnotic language patterns that exist. There's a whole complete video, or 2 videos, I think. I don't know if it's 1 long video or 2 shorter videos on nothing but instant and rapid inductions that you could just take out into the field and just start performing with people right away. Great for parties. It's going to teach you. There's a video on lie detection. There's a video, 3 or 4 videos on me teaching the same language patterns in one of my meetups here in San Diego. So you get to see me doing my impression of the Great Blueberry. I'm a little heavier. in that video, but you'll see some of the most organic, powerful languaging that I've come up with just on the fly as I'm teaching people the structure of the most powerful hypnotic language patterns that exist. There'll be a video called Hypnotic Hot Buttons, which is all about emotional bonding protocols for how to get people to salivate over your product or service in the shortest amount of time possible. It comes with downloadable MP3 audios. It comes with transcripts. It comes with workbooks. So you can have everything you need to consume that information and just immerse yourself in it. So you can literally watch a couple of videos and be out hypnotizing people in a couple of hours. That's a $997 value. We're going to give this to you 100% free. Total combined value in this is $11,985. But you know what? We're not done. Click that link right now. Be one of the next 15 people to click that link. We're going to give you a special VIP super ticket to our next upcoming virtual healing intensive. This is 3 days of me and you and a small group of interested people who want the deepest levels of transformation in the shortest amount of time, where I just run you through process after process after process. It's literally a 3-day group hypnotherapy session with me, where we're systematically going to eliminate your self-sabotage. We're going to heal your physical and emotional pains. We're going to remove blocks and limiting beliefs. We're going to find and remove the negativity you didn't even know you had. We're going to clear up issues that just don't seem to go away. We're going to resolve the negativity from your past so that when you look back on the past, you only remember it in ways that make your life better. We're going to help you get in touch with yourself. You're going to learn 3 of the most powerful self-healing techniques on the planet, things that'll just nuke just about anything you throw it at. And we've had some pretty miraculous healings happen during these virtual healing intensives. And as one of the people who clicked that link right now, you're going to get a free pass to the next 3-day intensive coming up the end of this month. I'll reach out to Moss for the exact dates. I don't have them in front of me. But let's say you can't make the healing event. You can trade in this VIP super healing intensive ticket and turn it into a bonus ticket where you get to come to any single 3-day intensive that we run. You got to call Moss for details on any of the 3-day events, find out when they're scheduled and when they're available. And you just got to call 858-282-4663. You'll get Moss. Be sure to leave your name and phone number and the time that you called so that we know that you qualify for this bonus. If you call for this bonus after I log off the webinar, see, this is where we make a distinction between the regular bonus package and the fast action bonus packages. The regular bonus package is good until 11:59 p.m. wherever you are. The fast action bonuses are only available for as long as I'm live on this webinar. So when I log off tonight's webinar, these fast action bonuses go away. The mastermind goes away. The stealth CPI the stealth instant conversational hypnosis crash course goes away, and your virtual healing intensive bonus ticket goes away as well. So if you want to come to the virtual healing intensive, no harm, no foul. Click that link. You already qualify for the next healing intensive. If you want to trade that ticket in for another 3-day event, like we have Hypnotic Laws of Attraction coming up in beginning of July. We might have a Renegade Reframing class coming up towards the end of the year. If we do any virtual events, any 3-day virtual events, you can trade that ticket in and attend virtually, right? It's, again, you have that ticket and you have it until you use it. So if it takes you a year to get to an event, okay, you're in our database. We can track it. You just pick up the phone or send us an email. We look you up. We put you on the guest list. If something comes up at the last minute, says you can't make it, we'll move you. We'll make a note in your database. That ticket's there until you're ready. Let's say you want to come to an event that's sold out at the last minute. You let us know. We'll find a seat for you. Let's say you want to gift that ticket to somebody else who you think might benefit from it. Maybe you have a friend or a colleague or a loved one, right, who could use some healing, and you'd like them to benefit from our virtual healing intensive process. Well, you can gift that ticket to them. It's a great Father's Day gift. If you got a dad or even a mom, right, who's got some kind of stuff going on that you feel we could help with, this would be a great present for people that you could gift, or gift to yourself, right? The gift of healing never goes out of style. So I encourage you, for no other reason than to just get this VIP ticket for yourself and use it in the way that moves your life in the direction you want it to go. It's a $2,497 value. We're going to give this to you free if you're one of the next 15 people who click those links in the chat right now. Total combined value on this is $14,482. So let's just review really quick for yourselves. Right? Mastering Your Mind Home Study Program, Secrets of Personality Transformation, $2,497. Identity by Design Hypnotherapy Home Study Program, $1,497. We're going to give that to you for free. The Hidden Laws of Attraction Manifestation Mind Control Home Study Course, $1,497. We're going to give that to you for free. You're going to get the Stealth CPI Universal Persuasion Protocol, most powerful persuasion system on the planet, $1,950 value. We're going to give this to you free. You're going to get the Stealth or the Renegade Reframing Conversational Belief Change Home Study Course, $1,950 value. We're going to give that to you for free. You're going to get the 3-month trial membership to the NLP Power Mastermind Mentoring Program. So $1,597 value. We're going to give that to you for free. And you get that free virtual healing intensive VIP super ticket valued at $2,497. We're going to give that to you for free. Total value on this is $14,482. And we're going to take an extra $200 off. You get the entire thing for just $797, or you can break it up into 3 easy installments of $397 each. All you got to do to get yours is click that link that's showing up in your chat. Click it right now, www.nlppower.com. Click the link, get your name in the game, and let's make some change, right? Okay, so while you're doing that, I'm going to go and I want to give you guys a 7-minute break. When we come back, we're going to start clearing some stuff. All right, we're going to drill down on the things you want to learn more about, and we're going to start clearing the blocks and the limiting beliefs, and we're going to move that needle for you in the way that you most want it to do. So I will see you in about 7 minutes, and arrivederci. Oops. Hey, my friend. Okay, my friends, I'm back. Hopefully, you guys have had a chance to ask your questions or do some soul searching, whatever it is you're going to do. That being said, let's go ahead and go into part 3 of tonight's webinar. I'm going to go ahead and just stop sharing this. I'll bounce back to it periodically. But again, I see a lot of chat about people are quizzing my veterans out there, and that's great. I love that because you guys expect me to tell you that my stuff's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Don't believe me. Just do what we do and see what happens. Okay. That being said, how many of you have at least one thing that you want to clear or transform tonight? Type it in the chat. Richard, I have no idea what your comment is in reference to, except it is. I don't know what that means. Let's see here. Are Zoomers or? Oh, okay. Keith is educating the people out there. All right. So, how many got at least one thing that you want to shift or change? Best thing since sliced bread. Right on. All right. Let me find my. Oh, let me give you guys some of the things I promised you. First of all, I gave you one of them. I said you need two ingredients for action. One's identity. I went through this whole dissertation about beliefs and belief systems, right? You got to have a belief system, a sense of identity that supports who you want to be. One of my peers in the personal development world, a guy by the name of John Assaraf, is often quoted as saying you can't out earn your level of self-esteem. Well, self-esteem is a belief is based on your belief systems. And so if you have a belief system that says you're not allowed to earn beyond a certain level, even if by some chance you win the lottery, you'll find a way to lose that, right? If I were speaking to a more woo-woo crowd, we would say you can't hold that vibration, right? What it means is your sense of worthiness, of self-worth and deservingness won't let you keep something that's not in harmony with your internal environment. So we need to actually start. That's where things have to start. But a lot of times it's a catch-22. The flip side of the identity equation is action. Most of us sit around doing affirmations or creating vision boards or putting our little money tree in the corner and wait for shit to happen. I promise you that will rarely happen for you. Okay? If you want to manifest in this world faster, if you want success by whatever yardstick you're using to measure it faster, if you want to reprogram your subconscious mind faster, you must take action. You must ground your mental training and your mental programming with behavioral actions in the physical world. You've got to take steps to move your life forward. One of the things that you'll learn as you get deeper and deeper into the nuts and bolts of the unconscious mind is that there's two ways that the unconscious is impressed. One is through intense emotion, and the other is through effort. In other words, the sense of doing something and repetition. So the more you physically get your body engaged in the actions that are in alignment with the programming you're seeking to install, the more rapidly that programming will activate and you'll be able to manifest things. Okay? Those are the two absolute prerequisites for success in anything. You have to have an identity that supports who you want to be or what you're seeking to achieve, and you must be willing to take the actions necessary to move that agenda forward. Now, actions is where I see the vast majority of people falling short. There's really only two reasons people don't take action. They don't want to, or they don't want to. Yes, I said that. They don't want to, or they don't want to. What does that really mean? question is, why don't they want to take action? There's two reasons: either a lack of understanding or knowledge, or fear. They either don't take action because they don't know what to do. They lack the skills and knowledge necessary to take the actions, or they're afraid. They have a program running inside of them that says, this is dangerous. This is scary. You'll be a bad person if only bad people do this. This isn't worth it. This is too much money. It's too much time. Let me explain what that's about. Anytime you have a voice in your head, when you see something you truly want and you know will change your life, and you're presented with the opportunity to get it, and the first thing that pops up is, it's a scam, it's too much money, it's too much time, it takes too long, it's not worth the investment. Anytime you hear those phrases or analogs to that in your mind, that's your self-esteem calling. That's your self-esteem projecting out and saying in camouflaged language, I'm not worth it. You don't deserve it. You're not ready for this, right? If you see something that you know will change your life, take the actions. Now, I don't care if it's my program. I don't care if it's, calling your boss and saying, hey, I'm going to find another job, or I want a raise, or whatever it is. You got to get out in the field. You got to do something different if you want a different life, right? And that's the statement that pisses a lot of people off. Okay. I don't say things intentionally to offend anyone, but I will say things that provoke you, because I need you to think about the things I'm saying. You need to take the actions. You need to do something different if you want something different. Okay. Now, there's two reasons that people don't take the actions. And I made the joke of they don't want to or they don't want to, but why don't they want to? A, they don't know how. In other words, they have this energy, they have this desire, they have this passion, they have this need to achieve, but they have no clue where to start. They have no clue what the first step is and the second step is. And then they procrastinate and they put it off. They don't take any actions because they don't know what to do. That's what we call a skill set issue. That's what we call a skill set issue. Okay. That's easy to fix, right? Figure out what it is you don't know, go and learn it, right? One of my mentors, my female mentors that I had many, many years ago, she would say, you can be or do or have anything you want in this life, but first you have to become the person who can have it, which means you have to change yourself, right? So if you're doing your vision boards and you're doing your affirmations and you're lighting your incense on your altar and using, putting your money tree in your wealth corner, but you're not actually going out into the world and doing something to move the needle forward, as if none of that was actually even a factor, you're probably not going to get the same degree of change and transformation that you want. So mindset, skill set. Mindset is the inverse. We know exactly what to do. We know exactly where to go. We know exactly who to talk to. We know exactly what steps to take, but we don't. That's a mindset issue. That's where the limiting beliefs, that's where the fears, the phobias, the traumas, the unchallenged beliefs we've inherited from our parents or our caregivers and authority figures, from the, what's the word I'm looking for? There's another place. Oh, the internal dialogue that we just talked about earlier, right? Those are mindset issues. That's what we're going to deal with today. But at the end of the day, you have to have both in place. You have to have the mindset and the skill set to take the action. You have to be willing to take the actions. If you don't take the actions, nothing will work for you. Okay. And then you have to have an identity that supports who you want to be. Now, sometimes that's one big home run. Sometimes it's a series of leaps, series of base hits, to use a sports metaphor. Iterate yourself to greatness. Don't be in a rush. Be determined, be relentless, be persistent, be playful, but take it in stages. Take it in stages, right? That being said, how many here have something they want to change? Type it in the chat. I see lots of people in the chat, but I don't see a lot of chat in the chat box. What's going on with that? Richard says I need to stay on my diet. Okay. All right. So here's how we do this. I can't, again, I'm on a very short leash with my cord, so I can't stand up like I normally do. Normally, I love to do these things standing up. So we're going to play with a couple of things. So just to review, in part one, I gave you the pleasure priming process. I recommend you do that priming process 5-6 times a day. The pleasure, just remembering a time when you felt immense pleasure, turning it into a color, breathing it through your body. When you get up in the morning, stand up, do your pleasure priming for 2 or 3 minutes. When you have lunch, right before you go eat your lunch, go prime yourself with pleasure. Right when you're done with your lunch, or when you go back to work, prime yourself with pleasure. Right when you go to bed or when you get home from work, prime yourself with pleasure. Okay. Now, why is this? Because the unconscious mind is influenced through repetition. It's influenced through pleasure. So we want to practice pleasure as often as possible. If there's a skill or a tactic or a technique that you want to learn, do your pleasure priming first. Create inside of you a state of enhanced neuroplasticity, and then begin your training, right? If you're going to listen to a hypnosis tape or some form of programming or meditation, take 1 or 2 minutes to just prime yourself with pleasure. And you'll find that everything you do is done better. Take the time to control your state. In other words, most of us won't start listening to a hypnosis tape or a meditation tape until we're already stressed out. I'm going to suggest you not do that. Take control of your state first, create a fertile soil for those suggestions to be implanted through enhanced neuroplasticity, and then you'll get a deeper effect from any recordings that you do, any affirmations that you do, right? This is the fast way to build those new neurons. Remember, 10,000 repetitions or 12. What do you want? Okay, so that's first. Second, as we go into this process, become aware of places in your body where ickiness emerges, point to where you feel it, mark it, and use the technique we're about to do to unpack it. Okay, very good. Okay, so we have Jody wants to start and finish the programs they purchase. D wants to take direct action, need to stay on my diet. Good stuff, good stuff, good stuff. Okay. All right, so here's what's going to happen. I want you to pick some, well, you know what? Normally I would say pick something on a scale of 1 to 10 is about a 1, 2, or 3. But you know what? I'm feeling kind of cocky today. When I do 12, I think it depends on I think it depends on the skill set. Okay. This what we're about to do, you're going to feel results really quick. Okay. So I want you to think of that thing you want to change. Now, as I go through this, I'm going to be asking you questions. Most of the questions I'm asking you are basically rhetorical. In other words, I want you to answer them in your own mind. I don't need you to answer them in the chat. Okay. I want you absorbed in this process. I want you following my instructions, and I want you to come at it with this playful, fun, pleasure-based energy. Okay. Can we do that? Type yes in the chat if you can do that. If you're willing to do that, it's important. Okay. All right. I want you to close your eyes now. I want you to think of something that you want to change. I'm going to ask you a question. Pay attention to the first thing that pops into your head. Okay? As you think of the thing you want to change, notice there's a place in your body where the feelings and the reason behind those feelings are stored. Notice where that spot is and point to it. As you find that spot, I want you to look at it with your inner eyes and notice there's a color. maybe even a series of colors connected to that feeling. Note for yourself what color or colors that might be for you, first impression. Now, once you know what that color or colors is, what I want you to do is ask yourself another question and pay very, very close attention to the feelings and the response you get. Ask yourself this question. Is it okay to get rid of it? Is it okay to change it? Is there any reason why I might want to keep it? I'm going to repeat that 3 more times. Is it okay to change this? Is there any reason why I might want to keep it? 3rd time. Is it okay to change this? Is there any reason why I might want to keep it? Okay. Now, if you answered yes, point to where you feel it. If there were a picture floating in the space around you that represents that feeling and the reasons behind that feeling, a picture that you could reach out and touch, where would you reach out to touch that picture? Go ahead, reach out and touch that picture. Physically reach out and touch it. Now, I want you to trace the outline of that picture with both of your hands so you know how big it is. And let's make sure we've got the right one. Grab the edges of it and just expand it like the window on your iPhone or your computer touchscreen at home. Make the picture as big as the room. Notice what happens to the feelings in your body. Do they get stronger? Do they get weaker? Doesn't matter which one they do. Just notice which one they do. Now bring it back to its original size. Keep the picture, the size of the picture now exactly the same. Slowly pull it closer to your body and notice what happens to the feeling. Does it get stronger? Does it get weaker? Now put it back to its original space. Using your imagination and your hands, draw a big, thick, black frame around that picture. Bigger and thicker and blacker, the better. Take your hand, feel along the base of that frame you've just drawn. You'll notice some dials and knobs and switches like on an old style television. Find the knob that controls the brightness or the contrast. Turn that knob all the way to the right until the image whites out completely. Notice how that makes you feel. When you've got that, turn the knob all the way to the left until the image blacks out completely. Notice how that makes you feel. Decide for yourself which one you like better. And turn the knob all the way to that direction until the screen blanks out in exactly the way you want. Once you've done that, I want you to take the index finger of your dominant hand and in glowing golden letters across that whited out or blacked out or otherwise colored out screen, I want you to write the lessons that this experience had to teach you, positive or negative, so you can keep all the lessons and let everything else go. Now, I want you to continue to write as I explain all the possibilities. Some people know exactly what those lessons are, and they write them on the screen like it's nobody's business. Some people have no conscious idea what those lessons are, but the part of you that created those feelings, the part of you that created that picture, that part always knows. So give control of your magic finger over to that part, and just like automatic writing, let it write across that blanked out screen everything that needs to be preserved so you can keep the lessons and let everything else go. The screen will scroll like a tablet can scroll, so you have an infinite, unlimited writing space. When my wife does this technique, she writes for 40 minutes at a time. It's like she's writing a chapter from War and Peace or the Holy Bible or something like that, right? Some people draw squiggles. Some people draw pictures. Every now and then you get a rage junkie, they write F-U, F-U, F-U across the screen, right? Some people write with both hands simultaneously, like they're writing Chinese or Hebrew at the same time. However your body does it, however your neurology seeks to express itself, let those fingers flow. If feelings and emotions come up, put them on the screen too. I want you to keep writing no matter what happens. Keep writing until everything that was inside is now outside on that screen and everything else has been let go. Now, some of you are going to be really fast at this. Some of you got to have a whole bunch of stuff to write. I don't care how long it takes you, right? Naturally, I'm going to, after a certain point, I'm going to continue talking, but your unconscious mind is going to continue processing. So I want you to just keep writing. If feelings and emotions come up, put them on the screen. Some people laugh, some people yawn, some people cry, some people twitch. Whatever your body does as you're writing those things on the screen, that's just how your neurology reprocesses and reprograms itself. There's no need to measure it, manage it, or make it happen faster. Just keep writing. And when you know it's done and everything that needs out is out on that screen, I want you to reach up with your hands, compress, shrink that frame down to the size of a postage stamp or even smaller. And with your eyes closed, I want you to notice how the feelings in your body shift and change as your other than conscious mind takes that frame, that teeny tiny frame, moves it up over the top of your head and back, back, back beyond the horizon. See it dip down below the horizon until it disappears from sight completely. And you all remember what the sound a hammer makes when you're banging on a nail. Feel it nailed back there for all eternity, impossible to come back. When you know it's nailed back there for all eternity, impossible to come back, test it. Try to bring the old feelings back. Try to turn the new feelings off and notice what happens instead. Take all the time you need. Some things melt faster than others. When you're satisfied, stop testing. Scan your body. Notice how different you feel. And when you're ready, and only when you're ready, go ahead and type in the chat what you learned, what you discovered. Jody Roy says, I just have to follow the directions. Yes, you did. That's it. That's all you got to do. You don't got to believe it. You don't got to do anything weird. Just follow the friggin' instructions. Lisa says, I am worth it in every way. Ashley says, my chest feels lighter. Yes. Is it really that simple? Uh-huh. In many cases, yes. Shiva Kumar says, oh my God, what a change in the energy levels. Yeah. Gerard says, a lot of things I believe for a long time are not true. Yes. How liberating is that, guys? How liberating is that? Baba Winga says, relax, still feel a bit on my right eye. Give it, Baba, give it a few minutes because sometimes it melts faster. Ashley says, very cool and scary how it works. Yeah. Guys, I've been teaching that technique and other types of techniques like it or that do have similar effects that quick for at least 13 years. And to this day, I look at the magic of these techniques and I understand them. I mean, I know them in and out. I look at the effects of these things and I keep saying, and I still find myself doing, that shouldn't work. That just shouldn't freaking work. But it does. It works because our sciences are based on this idea of specialization and segmentation. But our nervous system is not. Our nervous system, which includes our conscious mind, our other than conscious mind, our subconscious, unconscious, however you want to define it, is built around this idea of neural synergy. In other words, all the different divisions of the nervous system cooperating and communicating in a common language towards a common goal or set of goals. But all of our approaches that we do in our healing work are largely separatist or um, reductionist. All we're really doing here is taking the different divisions of you, creating connection to all of those levels, and communicating in a language that your neurology completely understands. And once you start doing that, it marshals all of the system's resources and change happens. Because 99.99% of everything you want to change, you created. Your nervous system built it. It can completely unbuild it and build something else. You just got to know how to tell it to do that. And that's all I figured out. Right. And I had a lot of really great teachers share just some solid gold nuggets along the way. Then I want to share them with you. I want people, more people need to know this. Right. I'm going to quote Lao Tzu. Lao Tzu says, if you want to change the world, start by changing yourself. And that's what this program's about. Right. I'm here to give you experiences of transformation, to unlock the magic inside of you. We've barely scratched the surface of what you're capable of. But think about how fast that was. Right? Think about how fast that change was for you. It only gets faster, right? It only gets deeper. So let me go back over some of the things here and see if there's anything based on what you guys are asking about. If there's, well, let me ask you a question. How many of you were working on, just by a show of names in the chat, how many of you were working on the things you typed to me in the chat with this process? How many of you, or did you work on something different? Yeah, it actually says weight loss. Okay. Something different. Okay, that's fine. The reason I'm asking is because I want to do a quick shout out for one of the last calls for the package. But when we come back, I want to do another process with you guys, and I'm trying to figure out if I need to do a different process or the same one or same kind of process based on what you guys want to achieve. Okay, I'm just trying to figure that out. Nancy purchased. Thank you, Nancy. We love you. So Jody worked on what you typed. And Jody, when you worked on what you typed, what happened? What did you suddenly think about everything different? I'm curious because that's usually how you know it worked. You can't think about the old problem the same way anymore. Baba Winga says, I went for level one. Perfect. That's fine. That's the best way to start. That's how we train you anyway. Edie says different. Okay. So let me just run through, give you guys your last shot at the package we're offering. Then we're going to come back. We're going to do one more clearing technique, and then we'll do one programming technique for you guys, and then we'll call it a night. All right. So for those of you who've been on the fence, and now Nancy's no longer on the fence, Secrets of Personality Transformation, $2,497 value. Identity by Design Hypnotherapy Home Study Course, $1,497. We're going to give that to you for free. Hidden Laws of Attraction, Manifestation, Mind Control Home Study Course, $1,497 value. We're going to give that to you for free. Stealth CPI, Universal Persuasion Protocol, $1,950 value for free. Renegade Reframing, Overcoming Objections, Conversational Belief Change, $1,950 value. We're going to get the NLP Power Mastermind Mentoring Program, $1,597 value. We're going to give that to you for free. Stealth Instant Conversational Hypnosis Crash Course, $997. And of course, the Virtual Healing Super Intensive 3-day ticket, $2,497. Total value on this is $14,482. Father's Day special. You can get it all for just one low installment of just $797. Just click that link in your chats right there. And get it in 3 installments of just $397 if you have a little bit more time. Okay, so again, one of the things that happens sometimes, Carol, is I move because we're doing a group, And because I am moving kind of fast, some of us process a little bit slower than others. So what I want you to do is when the webinar is over, go transcribe the process. Okay. And then I want you to do it at your own pace and just enjoy the process. Okay. And you'll probably get a deeper result. Nancy, the hypnotherapy course is not a certification, it's a skill builder. We only certify people during live events. So you have to either attend virtually in real time, or you have to show up for the live event. The beautiful part is you can take your VIP ticket and you can apply it towards one of the certifications, and Moss can help you with the details on that. Okay. It's the skill sets that are important right now for you guys. I think anybody can go to I shouldn't even say this. Anybody can go to Barnes and Noble, buy a book on hypnosis, and build themselves as a hypnotist. It's the Wild West. So we try to have as much quality control as possible, but at the end of the day, it's not about the certificate. It's not about the certificate. It's about what you can do with it. Yeah. All right. That being said, let me go ahead and jump out of this. So go ahead and click those links right now. If you have questions, by the way, please reach out to Moss or Mia. Moss can be reached at our phone number, 858-282-4663. But once again, remember, if you call, please, please, please leave your contact information and the time you called, because the fast action bonuses are only available until I log off tonight's webinar. If you call and the time you were on was when I was on the webinar, you will qualify for the fast action bonuses. If you call back later and we don't have a time for you, you'll only get the webinar package that was good until 11:59 p.m. tonight. So I want you guys to get the biggest bang for your buck. I want you guys to win. And I'm highly invested in your success, because you get access to me, you get access to Moss and Mia and the entire NLP Power team. We're here to help you. We want you to succeed. And as good as we are at what we do, we can't multiply zeros. Okay. Okay. You have to do your part. We'll do ours. If after 60 days you're not moving the needle enough, we'll refund your money. But in the meantime, you have absolutely nothing to risk and everything to gain. To quote one of my old mentors, when would now be a good time to click that link? Right. Okay. So I want you to think of something else you guys want to change. Think of something else you guys want to change. And again, I'm going to be a little bit more cavalier. It doesn't have to be a 1, 2, or 3. If you want, if it's something big, keep in mind you may have to do a few more passes on it, but not necessarily. I like to introduce people to things the way I would teach you to do it on your own. And so when I teach people to do these things for themselves, by themselves, I teach them to do it in lowest intensity level first. Just little stuff, 1s, 2s, and 3s, get really good at the process, then upgrade to the 4s, 5s, and 6s, and then the 7, 8s, and 9s. But the bias of your nervous system is such that it will always draw your attention to the biggest, most painful, most provocative, most disabling aspect of trauma or crap or belief that you have. And the problem with that is that if we try to go after the thing that's the strongest with techniques that we've just barely learned, it's like Bambi versus Godzilla. We don't want to do that. We want to train the system up so it has a really strong technique so it can take on the really strong monsters, right? That's the idea behind how we do things in Planet David. Now, when I'm guiding you through a process, or one of our more advanced people is guiding you through a process, we don't care. Right? We don't care if it's Godzilla. We don't care if it's Bambi. We don't care if it's Godzilla Jr. We'll walk you through those things. Now, on a webinar, I can't be with everybody one-on-one to customize the process. So I try to make it as safe and as success oriented as possible. Right. All right. Okay. I don't know. So there's some weird conversations going on our YouTube channel that I'm not following, so I don't want to be distracted. All right. So I want you guys to think, once again, we're going to do the same process. I'm going to give you another shot to click your links, and then we're going to come back and we're going to do a generative process. I'm going to show you how to use this same technique to program your mind to manifest something you want. It's actually a slight variation on this technique. So close your eyes, think of that thing you want to change, and on a scale of 0 to 10, rate the intensity of the feeling, point to where you feel it, look at it with your inner eyes, notice there's a color or a series of colors connected to those feelings. What's the color, first impression? And ask yourself this question: is it okay to change it? Is there any reason why you might want to keep it? Once you know the answer to that question, point to where you feel it. If there were a picture floating in the space around you that represents that feeling, a picture you can reach out and touch, where would you reach out and touch it? Reach out with both of your hands, trace the outline of that picture with both of your hands. I can't stress how important it is to physically trace the outline of the picture with your actual hands. Now grab the edges of it, and just like you would expand the window on your touchscreen or your iPhone, make the picture twice as big and notice what happens to the feeling. Does it get stronger or does it get weaker? It doesn't matter which one it gets. What matters is that you know which one it gets. Now bring it back to its original size. Grab the picture, slowly pull it closer to your torso. Keep the picture exactly the same size, just bring it closer. Notice what happens to the intensity of the feeling. Does it get stronger? Does it get weaker? However your body does it is perfectly okay. Slowly push the picture back out to its original location. Make it just a little bit smaller. Put a big, thick, black frame around that picture. Use your hands. The bigger and thicker and blacker, the better. Feel along the base of that frame. You'll notice some dials and knobs and switches like on an old style television. Turn that knob all the way to the right until the image whites out completely. Notice how that makes you feel. Turn the knob all the way to the left until the image blacks out completely. Notice how that makes you feel. Decide for yourself which one you like better. Okay? Turn the knob in that direction until the screen blanks out completely in whatever color or lack of color works for you. When you've got that, and only when you've got it, I want you to take the index finger of your dominant hand, and in glowing golden letters across that blanked out screen, there were some lessons that this experience had us to teach you, positive or negative. I want you to write those lessons on the screen in glowing golden letters or whatever color works for you, so you can keep all the lessons and let everything else go. The screen will scroll like a tablet scrolls, so you have an infinite, unlimited writing space. Some people know exactly what those lessons are. They blast them on the screen like it's nobody's business. Some people have no conscious idea, but that other than conscious part of them, part that created those feelings, part that created that screen, that part always knows. So give control of that finger to that part and let it write those lessons on that colored out, whited out, blacked out screen, so you can keep all the lessons and let everything else go. Now, again, I may be moving faster than some of you are comfortable moving. Don't worry about how fast I'm moving. Move at your own speed. Move at your own pace. Move at what feels comfortable and natural for you. As you're writing, some people draw squiggles. Some people draw pictures. Every now and then we get a rageaholic and they write F-U, F-U, F-U across that screen. Some people write with both hands simultaneously, like they're writing Chinese and Hebrew at the same time. However your body wants to do that, it's just your neurology expressing itself. Give it full access and permission to do that. Write everything on that screen so you can keep all those lessons and let everything else go. If feelings and emotions come up, blast them onto the screen too. Your body may do all kinds of weird things. Some people break out in a sweat. Some people laugh. Some people yawn. Some people cry. Some people twitch. Some people burp and sneeze and yawn and dry heave and have all kinds of weird bodily functions that come up while they're doing this. That's supposed to happen for you. Just keep writing and writing until everything is out of you on that screen. Keep what's important, let everything else go. Okay? When you know you're done, and only when you know you're done, I want you to reach up, Shrink that frame down to the size of a postage stamp or even smaller. Notice how the feelings in your body shift and change as your other than conscious mind takes that teeny tiny frame, moves it up over the top of your head, all the way back beyond the horizon. Feel it dip down below the horizon until it disappears from sight completely. And you all remember the sound a hammer makes when you're banging on a nail. Feel it nailed back there for all eternity, impossible to come back. When you know it's nailed back there for all eternity, impossible to come back, test it. Try to bring the old feelings back, try to turn the new feelings off, and notice what happens instead. Now, take all the time you need to let your neurology process out that experience. Okay? Some people, it's going to be fast. Some people are going to be slow. Some people are right with me as I'm speaking. I don't care. Give your neurology permission to complete this process at whatever speed is right for it. The worst thing you can do is try to rush this. Okay? Some things melt faster than others. Some things melt slower than others. You'll notice as you're going through that process, the way you think about that experience, the lessons that you draw from it, they change spontaneously. That's how you know it worked. Not only do the symptoms go away, you think about it differently, right? Because you're using a deeper, more powerful aspect of your neurology to process your experience. Okay? When you know you're done, just type done in the chat and we'll continue. D says done. Thanks. D, how you feeling? What do you notice? Better. Yeah. Body electric supplement done. Okay. Nice. Edie says done, but the process, yes, you'll notice that the intervention itself is really, really quick, but the processing keeps going. So for those of you who are on tonight's webinar who are going through and you're tackling like the Godzillas of the world, drink lots of water, get lots of sleep. What's going to happen for most people is your body will start to slough off all the emotion it's been holding on to. The secret to this is to let that shit just come out. Don't try to think your way through it. Don't try to analyze it. Don't try to push the process along. Let the stuff just ooze out the way it needs to. Do it in a way that's safe for you, that's private for you, right? And give yourself the permission to nurture, to be self-nurturing, right? You can give your body what it needs to heal, which is often just time. Okay. Questions about this process. This is called the magic frame. It's the special negativity clearing exercise I showed you in the Identity by Design silo. Okay. Why do I don't know why you do that, but there's probably a part of you that still wants to hold on to it. So let's play a little bit, Ashley. Close your eyes. If there were a part of you that wanted it to be stuck in your back, or that was keeping it stuck in your back, and there was a reason behind that, and there was a place in your body where that feeling was located, where might it be? Point to it. And if there was a color connected to that feeling, what color might it be? And if your higher mind could send you a feeling, a frequency, a vibration, a color that would completely dissolve that stickiness and let that picture fly back into the horizon where it's supposed to go, what color or colors might it send you? First impression. Now, whatever color popped up or colors popped up, Imagine a beautiful ball of that energy floating above your head. Notice how the feelings in your body shift and change as that energy grows to fill the entire room. Wrap itself around you and breathe that color through the area where that stuck color used to be, and notice what happens. Take all the time you need to let that process take place. And when it's done, just give me a report and tell me what happened. While we're waiting for Ashley, you guys ready to use a similar, you guys ready to program for something better? Yes or yes? Okay, cool. So here's what we're going to talk about. What we're going to do now is I'm going to give you a real quick deep dive into six dynamics of an unconscious response. Remember that the most important thing that you can do to change anything, to reprogram anything in your subconscious mind, is to be able to get accurate, useful information from your system. The problem is that the part of us we're using to interpret information from the deeper system uses a different language to interpret. So we have to have a way to trust the information we get. I have a whole video on the YouTube channel for this. You're going to get deeply trained in this in 3 or 4 of the trainings in this package. So remember this, the unconscious mind always answers first. It always answers honestly. It always feels like you're making it up. You always have an urge to edit what just came up. It's never loud and it's never linear. Okay. That's as far as I'm going to go. Those are the 6 things. Whenever you're trying to do self-transformation work and you need information from your unconscious mind, those are the 6 things you go by. Whatever comes up first, right answer. Whatever comes up first, always the truth, is always the honest answer. Whatever comes up first is always going to feel like you're making it up. Okay. So Ashley says, my body feels hot and my back pain feels lighter. Well, how about that, huh? Give it a few minutes. Keep breathing your energies through there. If your higher mind could send you a feeling, a frequency, a vibration, or a color that would accelerate that process and completely dissolve the stagnation and pain you're feeling in your back, what color or colors might it send you? Imagine it above your head, wrap it around you, breathe it through those other areas, and then report back what happens. Okay. So for those of you who are ready to program something, here's what we're going to do. I learned this variations of this technique back in my NLP days. We're going to use it. We're going to do it the hypnotist way. Okay. So I want you to think about something that you really, really want. I mean, on a scale of 0 to 10, has like a lust factor of 27. Okay. And what I want you to do is I want you to notice where in your body you feel it. And if there's a picture floating in the space around you that represents that thing, a picture you can reach out and touch, where would you reach out to touch it? Where would you reach out to touch it? First impression. Now, take both of your hands, draw a frame around that picture. Now, we may not keep the frame on, but I want to keep this as close to the earlier exercise as possible. Just to make sure we've got the right one that we want to change, I want you to grab that frame, make it bigger. Notice what happens to the feeling. Does it get stronger or weaker? Pull it closer to your body. Does it get stronger or weaker? Put it back to its original location. Leave it there. Leave it there. Take a picture of where it is. Leave it there. Think about what you had for breakfast yesterday. Now, I want you to think of a time in your life when you saw something you really, 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 really wanted. And again, on a scale of 0 to 10, it had a lust factor of 47. And you decided you were going to get it no matter what. You made a plan. You put that plan into operation. You worked that plan. Any obstacles got in your way, you went over, around, through, whatever, and you nailed it. Boom, home run. I want you to remember that feeling of making it happen, not just the victory of having it, the drive, the actions, the relentless determination, all the things you did and you felt to get to that moment of victory. I want you to think about it, feel it, see it, hear it. As you do that, I want you to notice something, that there's a place in your body where those unstoppable manifestation, action taking, victory creating feelings start, where they grow, where they spread from. Notice where in your body you feel it and point to it. If there were a picture floating in the space around you that represented that amazing achievement, where it was just inevitable because you were going to get it no matter what, where would you reach out to touch that picture? Reach out and touch it. Trace the outline of it with both of your hands so you know how big it is. Stretch it out, make it big. Does the feeling get stronger or weaker? Make it smaller. Pull it closer. Does it get stronger or weaker? Put it back to its original place. Know exactly where that spot is. And think about what you're going to have for breakfast tomorrow. Okay? So, if we've done this properly, we have something we want to program for the future, something we want to manifest. Yes? Something we've already done in the past that has what we want. I want you to bring the pictures up side by side. So on one side, you've got the thing you want to make happen. On the other side is something you've already made happen, with all the skills, qualities, characteristics, attributes, and behaviors necessary to move that needle forward. I want you to put those pictures side by side. I want you to look at those pictures. Look at all the visual components of the picture you want to change, the picture you want to manifest. Is it in color or black and white? Is it moving or still? Is it fuzzy or clear? You get the idea? We don't need to know every single nuance, but I want you to look at all the visual attributes that you can detect in that picture. And I want you to look at the picture of the thing you made manifest. And I want you to make the visuals of the thing you want to manifest match the visuals of the things you manifested before. So if this picture is in color, but it's still, and this picture is in color, but it's moving, make this picture color and moving. Make the visuals of this match the visuals of this. Then we do the auditories and the kinesthetics and the olfactories and the gustatories. So literally, if you look at the attributes of the picture, I want everything here to have the same look and feel as everything over here. So take all the time and you make all the visuals match all the visuals. Make all the auditories. Is there sound? Is there voice? Is it loud? Is it soft? Does it come and go? Are there multiple voices? Make that match this one. Now let's go to the sense and the things you can smell. Are there any smells? Are there any smells? Make the smells match. Tastes. What are the tastes, if there are any, in that picture? Are there any tastes here? Make the tastes match. And then finally, the kinesthetics. What are the feelings in this picture? What are the feelings in this picture? Make the feelings here match the feelings here. When you've got that, when you've got it, I want you to bring this picture in front of you, and I want you to, with your magic glowing golden finger, I want you to write, I deserve this because, and finish the sentence. I deserve this because I'm awesome. I deserve this because I've invested in myself. I deserve this because I take all the actions. Whatever it is, I want you to write all the reasons in that format. I deserve this because I am achieving this because I am accomplishing this because, and keep writing on the screen. Now, I know I'm going a little fast. But when you've got that, and only when you know you've got it, type done in the chat. Okay, Jody's got done. If I get 2 or 3 more, we'll move on. Seth is done. Jody's done. Excellent. Okay. Lisa's done. Excellent. Now I want you to reach up, take that picture that you've just modified to all get out. You've modified the visuals, the auditories, the smells, the sense, the taste, the feelings. You've written, I deserve X because, shrink it down to the size of a postage stamp. Once you've shrunk it down to the size of a postage stamp, move it over to the space where that other picture is stored, plug it in, and make it as big as the room, and notice what happens. It may take a few minutes for you to finish processing that. When you're done, type what just happened, what you experience in the chat. When you're ready, give me a report. Tell me what's happening. Jody says, I felt an explosion that moved me backwards and then I moved forward and balanced in the new reality. Ah, very good. How interesting. So I'm assuming, Jody, that that's a good thing. It's interesting. I have 2 Jodys in the chat. That's very unusual. Jody says, yes, that's a very good thing. Jody Scott, I don't know how and I don't know when, but I believe I believe. Amen, sister. Now, some of you may still be processing this. Here's what you do. Lisa says, doing the exercise, I felt very hot and then I felt a wave of coolness that comes over me. Yes. Thermogenic effects are quite common with these types of interventions, right? It's pretty cool. Now, I'll give you one more hack to this. If you really want to lock it in, imagine you have like 100 copies of that picture that you just made, and you grab each copy, shrink it down, move it and grow it. Shrink it down, move it and grow it. Shrink it down, move it and grow it until it just locks in there and just automatically goes there. Physically shrink it down, move it and grow it. Physically shrink it down, move it and grow it. And all of a sudden you'll see it just lock in there and it just stays there. Everybody has their own number of repetitions that they need to go through for that to lock in. This is a very, very powerful drill. And you can pretty much change anything you want into anything you want with this. I gave you a very simple, user-friendly version, but it always starts with something you've done successfully in the past that your system absolutely knows to be true. That's the best way to use this. Chainsaw says calm sweat. Yep. Lottie says lovely popping upbeat energy in a room and gone. Good. Excellent. Angela says uncontrollable smile. How cool is that? Right? Who says change has to be slow? Can you go back to thinking the old way? Would you try? Can you go back to thinking about it the old way? How do you feel differently about it now? All right. Jody says, not go in there. That's how you know it works. I used to make a joke. There were three ways you knew that an intervention took. One, you ask them to try to bring it back. They look at you and say, I can't. I ask them to try to bring it back. They try to bring it back. The new feelings get stronger. Or like Jody, I ask them to try to bring it back. They look at me, get pissed off, and say, I don't want it back. Success. You're done. Okay. Remember something. Your autonomic nervous system, your other than conscious mind, is always, always, always seeking to make your experience of the external world match your experience of the internal one. So when you change something in your internal universe, those changes will ripple out and be manifested at some point in your external reality. You don't need to keep thinking about it. You don't need to keep doing it, right? Once it's locked in, it's locked in. Okay. So once again, for those of you who've been on the fence, this is the Mastering Your Mind Home Study Program, Secrets of Personality Transformation, $2,497 value. The Identity by Design Hypnotherapy Home Study Course, valued at $1,497. We're going to give that to you for free. Hidden Laws of Attraction, Mind Control, and Manifestation Home Study Course, $1,497. We're going to give that to you for free. Hidden Laws of Attraction, I think I said that. I think I just said that. Stealth CPI Universal Persuasion Protocol, $1,950. We're going to give that to you for free. Renegade Reframing, Overcoming Objections, Conversational Belief Change, $1,950. We're going to give that to you for free. You're going to get the NLP Power Mastermind Mentoring Program 3-month trial membership, $1,597 value. We're going to give that to you for free. You're going to get the Stealth Instant Conversational Hypnosis Crash Course, $997 value. We're going to give that to you for free. And then you're going to get the 3-day virtual healing super intensive ticket that you can actually trade in on any other 3-day training that we're doing, or just show up and get 3 days of nonstop, all-consuming healing with yours truly for a full 3 days, absolutely free. We love you for that. $2,497 value. Total value on our entire package today is $14,482. Remember the fast action bonuses, right? And that would be these. These go away when I log off the webinar tonight. So if you're on the fence, when would now be a good time to click those links, reach out to Moss and Mia, and get your stuff handled, okay? I love you all, but I can't multiply zeros, right? If you show up, I'll show up. You can get it all for one low installment of just $797. If you need a little space, you can break that up into 3 installments at just $397 each. All you got to do is click your link. Go to nlppower.com/mind. Click the link before it's too late. And after you click the link, if you have any other questions, or if you, one other thing I forgot to mention, if let's say you've bought packages similar to this in the past, let's say you bought a webinar program, or you actually bought Identity by Design on its own, and you don't want the same course, well, just reach out to Moss or Mia and let us know, and we'll let you substitute any course of equal or lesser value so you can customize the program without duplicates. Right? We have no problem with that as long as the numbers match up. So we're here to help. Call us at 858-282-4663. Email Moss at nlppower.com. Email Mia at nlppower.com. Special shout out to Brandon, thanking him for his help in setting up all the different infrastructures and things of that nature. Jody says, thank you, David. I'm in the program and now I'm going to start it because of clearing this. Excellent. You rock, my friend. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, in the words of the immortal Carol Burnett, I'm so glad we had this time to, I can't do this shit. My daughter does this stuff all the time. I'm so glad we had this time together just to have a laugh or sing a song. Seems we just got started, and before you know it, comes the time we have to say so long. I love you all. Good night. God bless. We'll see y'all very, very soon. Click those links and let's get this party started. Take care.